When we think of dinosaurs, our minds often summon towering giants, massive creatures with thunderous steps, dominating prehistoric landscapes. The giant Tyrannosaurus rex, the colossal Argentinosaurus, or the armored Ankylosaurus come directly to mind. Popular culture, movies, and school textbooks have tended to emphasize their immense size, presenting dinosaurs as creatures of enormous stature that ruled the Earth in dominant, almost mythical grandeur. This prevailing image has shaped imagination for generations, but it only tells part of the story. In fact, the world of dinosaurs was astonishingly diverse, ranging from gargantuan herbivores to creatures barely larger than a modern chicken, many of which thrived in niches that the giants couldn't possibly occupy. When most people hear dinosaur, the immediate image is that of an enormous beast overshadowing the landscape with its sheer bulk and power. Yet, this popular conception overlooks a fascinating aspect of dinosaur existence. Many species were tiny, even minuscule in comparison to their more famous relatives. These small dinosaurs were not just juvenile stages of larger species or freak anomalies, but fully grown animals adapted to their own ecological roles. From the size of a pigeon to that comparable to a domestic cat, tiny dinosaurs challenge the conventional narrative and urge us to broaden our perspective about what dinosaurs truly were. This opening chapter invites you to step into a different lens, one that acknowledges the complexity and variety of dinosaur life beyond the giants. Scientists have long recognized this diversity, but it has taken decades for tiny dinosaurs to move from the shadows of their gigantic cousins and claim a prominent place in paleontological research and public awareness. The prevailing giant-centric stories have inadvertently obscured the subtle, intricate lives of these smaller creatures, which were no less remarkable than the colossal ones. Understanding these scaled-down dinosaurs offers new insights into their evolution, biology, ecosystems, and the very nature of prehistoric life. Challenging these popular images begins with questioning what shaped them in the first place. Early fossil discoveries were certainly biased towards large, robust skeletons that were easier to find and interpret. Large bones survive the ravages of time and erosion better than tiny, delicate ones. The prominent display of giant skeletons in museums and the dramatic stories about titanic battles between massive carnivores and herbivores naturally captured public attention and shaped educational narratives. Additionally, our modern-day fascination with extremes and monsters has influenced media portrayals. Blockbuster films and sensationalist literature thrive on spectacular visuals and dramatic conflicts. This often sidelines the quieter, yet equally fascinating, existence of smaller dinosaurs. But the reality recorded in the fossil record is more nuanced and fascinating. Tiny dinosaurs filled essential roles in ecosystems, acting as swift predators or nimble prey, insectivores, omnivores, or plant eaters. These little creatures evolved unique adaptations: feathers, agile limbs, sharp senses that allowed them to survive and flourish alongside their giant contemporaries. They offer a glimpse into the evolutionary lineage that links dinosaurs to modern birds, helping us understand the origins of flight, feathers, and even behaviors like parental care and social living. In reassessing our view of dinosaurs, we shift from an image dominated by brute strength and overwhelming size toward one that appreciates the delicate balance of Mesozoic ecosystems, where creatures large and small interacted and evolved in tandem. Tiny dinosaurs compel us to consider the environment as a complex web and remind us that evolutionary success does not always mean growing bigger. Rather, success can lie in flexibility, adaptability, and the ability to thrive in niches large creatures cannot exploit. As we embark on this journey, we will explore how these small dinosaurs were discovered, their anatomical and behavioral uniqueness, their roles in ancient ecosystems, and how modern technology continues to unveil secrets hidden for millions of years. Challenging popular dinosaur images doesn't just rewrite history. It invites us to experience the ancient past with a new sense of wonder, compassion, and scientific curiosity. This foundational perspective sets the stage for understanding why the coming revelations about tiny dinosaurs are not just fascinating details, but transformative insights. It allows us to appreciate the full spectrum of dinosaur life, restoring balance to the story of the Mesozoic era. From now on, when you picture a dinosaur, allow room for the tiny, scaly, or feathered beings darting through prehistoric undergrowth, taking flight, hunting insects, or evading larger predators. Their world was vibrant, complex, and vital, revealing that prehistoric life was not just an arena for giants, but a tapestry rich with creatures of all sizes. The next step will take us back to the early days of paleontology to uncover how the discovery of tiny dinosaurs began to change science's understanding of these fascinating creatures, opening up new questions and new ways to see the ancient world. The fascinating tale of tiny dinosaurs begins with a chapter often overshadowed by the dramatic discovery of gigantic dinosaur skeletons. In the early days of paleontology, the unearthing of small dinosaur fossils was a rarity, not because these creatures did not exist, but largely due to the challenges posed by their diminutive size. However, as science progressed, a series of early fossil finds and public announcements began to reveal a hidden spectrum of dinosaur species that were astonishingly small. These discoveries quietly set the stage for a revolutionary shift in how we perceive dinosaurs and their diversity. The formal study of dinosaurs began in the early 19th century with monumental finds like Megalosaurus and Iguanodon, animals known for their impressive size and imposing presence. These were the icons of paleontology, immediately capturing public imagination. However, the discovery of small dinosaur specimens was either overlooked or misclassified due to the limitations of the time. Fossils of tiny creatures are inherently difficult to detect and preserve. Their fragile bones break easily, are easily swallowed by the earth, or simply go unnoticed amid the sediment. Despite these obstacles, several early finds indicated the existence of small dinosaurs long before it became widely accepted. One of the first recognized small dinosaurs was Compsognathus, unearthed in the late 19th century in Europe. This species, roughly the size of a modern chicken, was initially met with intrigue but often regarded as an outlier. Its discovery hinted that not all dinosaurs were giants, but did not immediately catalyze a broader appreciation for miniatures within scientific or popular narratives. Around the same era, paleontologists began discovering small dinosaur bones within larger fossil deposits. However, these remains were frequently misidentified as juvenile forms of known large species, rather than separate small-sized adults. It took meticulous analysis and growing fossil evidence to challenge this assumption. In many cases, the fossilized small bones showed anatomical features distinct from juveniles. This information was painstakingly detailed over decades as fossil preparation methods improved. The mid-20th century saw a remarkable expansion in dinosaur research worldwide. Advanced excavation techniques, along with increasing interest in dinosaur diversity, spurred new investigations into the fossil record. In Asia, particularly in China and Mongolia, exceptional fossil beds started yielding exquisitely preserved remains, including very small dinosaurs with delicate features. The renowned Jehol biota in northeastern China revealed tiny feathered dinosaurs, which were not only small, but also astonishingly similar to birds in anatomy and lifestyle. This wave of discoveries was brought to public attention through numerous scientific papers and wide media coverage, gradually transforming the common image of dinosaurs. The late 20th century is often regarded as a renaissance in dinosaur paleontology, especially concerning the understanding of small, often bird-like species. Announcements about new fossils were met with excitement, as the idea that dinosaurs evolved diverse body sizes and that not all were giant carnivores or herbivores took root. One landmark was the discovery of dinosaurs, like Microraptor and other maniraptorans, small, feathered species that blurred the lines between traditional dinosaurs and the ancestors of modern birds. These finds were pivotal. They directly connected tiny dinosaurs to the evolutionary lineage that led to avian species. Suddenly, the perception shifted from dinosaurs being only prehistoric monsters to creatures linked to the natural world around us, inclusive of its smaller inhabitants. European finds also contributed notably during this period. The small, agile dinosaurs of the late Jurassic and early Cretaceous strata in Germany and France, such as the aforementioned Compsognathus and others of similar stature, were recognized more fully as representing distinct evolutionary paths, rather than immature stages of larger species. This recognition was facilitated by comparative anatomy, growth analyses, and re-examination of existing collections. By the turn of the 21st century, the scientific community generally acknowledged that small dinosaurs represented an essential and widespread component of Mesozoic ecosystems. This realization would not have been possible without sustained efforts to locate, excavate, and study tiny and often overlooked fossils. Public museums began to incorporate exhibits focused on small dinosaurs, emphasizing their unique features and ecological importance. Today, with advanced technology such as micro-CT scanning and sophisticated analytical tools, paleontologists can investigate these fossils in unprecedented detail, confirming earlier findings and discovering new species. This technology allows for detailed visualization of minute fossil structures that in the past were nearly impossible to study thoroughly. The story of the discovery of tiny dinosaurs is not just about the fossils themselves, but also about the evolution of science. The way hypotheses change, ideas are challenged, and new evidence reshapes our understanding of prehistoric life. Small dinosaurs, once hidden and underestimated, now serve as vital keys, unlocking secrets of evolution, behavior, and ecology. As this narrative evolves, the recognition of tiny dinosaurs helps bridge the gap between the ancient past and the present, connecting the Mesozoic reptiles to the birds that grace our skies today. The next stage of our journey explores why size truly matters in understanding dinosaurs and what dinosaur diversity looks like beyond the giants, setting the groundwork for appreciating the full array of dinosaur life that once thrived on our planet. The fascination with size has long shaped our understanding of dinosaurs. When we think about dinosaurs, enormous size often comes to the forefront. Creatures towering over the landscape, weighing as much as multiple elephants, their sheer bulk shaping their ecosystems. Yet, the story of dinosaurs is not solely one of gigantic proportions. Understanding why size matters opens a window into the extraordinary diversity of dinosaur species and the ecological complexity of the Mesozoic era. Size fundamentally influenced how these animals lived, interacted, and evolved, revealing a world rich with tiny as well as massive forms. During the Mesozoic era, spanning approximately from 252 to 66 million years ago, dinosaurs radiated into an astonishing array of species occupying various habitats. It's easy to picture tall sauropods with their necks stretched toward treetops, or fierce theropods like Tyrannosaurus rex, dominating other large animals. But alongside these giants, existed a multitude of dinosaurs that were much smaller, sometimes scarcely larger than a modern-day sparrow. These smaller species were not simply miniature versions of their larger counterparts. Many represented unique adaptations and evolutionary experiments that filled diverse ecological niches. The concept of size in dinosaurs is pivotal from multiple perspectives: biological, ecological, and evolutionary. Biologically, size affects physiology and metabolism. Larger animals tend to have slower metabolisms and different growth rates compared to smaller animals, which usually require faster metabolism to maintain activity levels. This biological foundation helps us understand why dinosaurs of various sizes evolved distinct lifestyles. For example, large herbivorous sauropods relied on enormous digestive tracts to process tons of plant material, while small carnivores needed agility and speed to capture prey. Ecologically, size shapes an animal's role within its environment. Large dinosaurs could assert dominance simply through their mass and strength, able to fend off many predators or reach unreachable food sources, thereby occupying the ecological role of mega herbivores, or apex predators. In contrast, the tiny dinosaurs often exploited niches inaccessible to giants. They could maneuver through dense undergrowth, climb trees, hunt for insects, or forage for food in microhabitats that larger animals could not access. Their small stature often conferred advantages in speed, stealth, and the ability to evade predators. As such, the existence of small dinosaurs highlights the complexity of Mesozoic ecosystems, where survival depended not only on size, but also on behavioral and anatomical adaptations. From an evolutionary standpoint, size diversity in dinosaurs illuminates the process of natural selection acting on various ecological pressures. The notion that bigger is better does not hold unilaterally in nature. While large size brings benefits such as deterrence of predators and resource monopolization, it also imposes costs, including higher energetic demands, slower reproduction, and increased vulnerability to environmental change. Tiny dinosaurs illustrate how evolutionary pressures favored smaller, more versatile forms in certain contexts, such as areas with limited resources, threats from larger predators, or the development of flight. Indeed, some of the smallest dinosaurs are directly linked to the evolutionary lineage leading to modern birds. Their diminutive size was crucial for the development of flight capabilities, lightweight bodies, feathers, and aerodynamic shapes. These characteristics required a departure from the giant forms and facilitated the rise of new behaviors and ecological roles. Understanding this size shift provides important clues to one of the most remarkable transitions in the history of life on Earth. Assessing size also challenges our perceptions about dinosaur behavior. Smaller dinosaurs likely had different social structures, hunting strategies, and reproductive habits compared to large species. For example, they may have formed packs or flocks for protection, used camouflage or agility to escape predators, and had faster breeding cycles. These behavioral adaptations would have exerted additional evolutionary pressure shaping their size and form. Moreover, the study of small dinosaurs enriches our comprehension of species diversity. The fossil record demonstrates that many dinosaur lineages comprised species ranging widely in size, from the minuscule to the gigantic. This size variation indicates that dinosaurs were highly adaptable and occupied an enormous array of environments worldwide, from lush forests to arid plains, from island ecosystems to vast continental interiors. It is essential to recognize that size does not equal importance. While large dinosaurs understandably captured the public and scientific spotlight, tiny dinosaurs played equally vital roles in maintaining ecological balance. They were integral in controlling insect populations, dispersing seeds, and serving as prey for larger carnivores. These smaller species contributed to the food webs that sustained the diversity of life in the Mesozoic. Further appreciating why size matters requires acknowledging the limitations of the fossil record, which disproportionately favors large, robust bones. Smaller fossils are often fragmented or scarce, leading to their underrepresentation in paleontology until recent times. This bias has historically skewed our understanding of dinosaur diversity and size distribution. However, advances in excavation methods and analytical technologies are progressively rectifying this, revealing a vibrant spectrum of dinosaur sizes. In summary, exploring dinosaur size diversity reshapes our view from that of solitary giants ruling their domains to a dynamic mosaic of species of all sizes coexisting, competing, and evolving. Size influenced diet, behavior, habitat use, and evolutionary trajectory, painting a picture of Mesozoic life as much richer and more intricate than the colossal creatures alone suggest. As we continue, we will delve into the particular ecological roles and niches occupied by these tiny dinosaurs within prehistoric ecosystems, seeing how size shaped their existence and defined their place in a world where survival demanded innovation, resilience, and adaptability. Understanding these roles deepens our appreciation of the full spectrum of dinosaur life that once flourished across our planet. In imagining the Mesozoic ecosystems, the predominant image that often comes to mind is a world ruled by gigantic dinosaurs. Yet, alongside these larger-than-life creatures existed a diverse community of tiny dinosaurs, each occupying specific roles and niches critical to the balance of their environments. Understanding the roles tiny dinosaurs played in prehistoric ecosystems unveils a complex and nuanced tapestry, where size and specialization allowed these small creatures to flourish and maintain ecological harmony. Ecosystems are dynamic systems in which different species coexist by partitioning resources such as food, shelter, and space. Size strongly influences how an animal interacts with its environment, determines its prey or diet, and affects its predators. Tiny dinosaurs, often no larger than a modern-day chicken or even a pigeon, found their niches in ways that complemented and sometimes contrasted with the niches of their larger relatives. One critical role tiny dinosaurs played was that of insectivores, or small carnivores. Many miniature theropods, close relatives of birds, fed on insects, small vertebrates, or even scavenge carrion. Their small size provided advantages in agility and speed, enabling them to maneuver through dense vegetation or forest floors where larger dinosaurs could not follow. This specialization helped regulate insect populations, which in turn influenced plant health and the broader ecosystem. Without such control, certain insect populations might have exploded, potentially destabilizing plant communities. Other small dinosaurs adapted herbivorous or omnivorous diets. These tiny plant eaters grazed on low-growing vegetation, buds, fruits, or seeds, nourishment unavailable or unattractive to the giants that primarily fed on treetops or large-scale foliage. Their actions would have contributed to seed dispersal and the shaping of vegetation patterns. In this way, they became subtle but essential ecosystem engineers, influencing plant growth and diversity. Moreover, many small dinosaurs were likely prey species themselves, forming an essential part of the food web. Being small came with great risks as well as advantages. They were vulnerable to many carnivores, including larger theropods and even some small mammals or reptiles. In response, tiny dinosaurs might have developed evasive behaviors, such as quick dashes, climbing abilities, or camouflage through feathers or coloration, to avoid predation. Their social behaviors, too, such as living in groups or utilizing alarm calls, may have been sophisticated survival strategies that remain partially concealed in the fossil record. In addition, Some small dinosaurs are thought to have exhibited arboreal lifestyles or semi-arboreal habits. The ability to climb trees, glide, or potentially fly gave them access to resources unreachable by ground-bound giants. Animals like Microraptor, with its feathered limbs adapted for gliding, reveal how tiny dinosaurs exploited these aerial or semi-aerial niches. Occupying trees offered safety, access to food sources such as insects or fruit, and allowed colonization of new environments. These arboreal niches highlight the early evolutionary experiments that eventually led to the development of powered flight in birds. Tiny dinosaurs also likely played essential roles in nutrient cycling. Their consumption and digestion of organic matter, plants or small animals, would have had effects far beyond their immediate spheres. For instance, through excretion, they contributed to soil enrichment, fostering plant growth and supporting the wider food web. Looking at the ecosystem as a whole, small dinosaurs were integral to maintaining this cycle of energy and nutrients. It's important to recognize that the roles of tiny dinosaurs were not fixed but dynamic. Over millions of years, as climates changed and continents shifted, these species adapted to new challenges, modified their diets, and adjusted behaviorally to survive. This adaptability was aided by their small size, which often necessitated shorter life cycles, faster reproduction, and a capacity to exploit emerging environmental niches quickly. Environmental heterogeneity within Mesozoic habitats meant that tiny dinosaurs likely specialized locally, occupying microhabitats, small-scale environments such as forest floors, riverbanks, or island ecosystems. In these microhabitats, the specific characteristics of the terrain, vegetation, and climatic conditions shaped which species thrived. The presence of diverse tiny dinosaur species across wide geographic regions testifies to their adaptability and the richness of ecological niches available. Furthermore, some tiny dinosaurs might have had symbiotic relationships with other species, including plants and larger animals. For instance, seed dispersal through their foraging activities or interactions with insects and other small animals could have formed mutually beneficial relationships, reinforcing ecosystem stability. Appreciating the roles tiny dinosaurs played helps to dispel a simplistic, giants-only view of prehistoric life. Instead, it reveals a natural world where creatures of all sizes lived interwoven lives, each essential to the ecosystem's resilience and function. Their presence reminds us that evolution repeatedly favors diversity, not just in form, but in scale, a lesson echoing into modern biodiversity conservation. As we continue our exploration of tiny dinosaurs, the next chapter will delve into how scientists distinguish these small adult dinosaurs from juvenile forms. This distinction is crucial for correctly reconstructing their ecological roles and understanding the evolutionary pathways that miniaturization followed within the dinosaur lineage. Such understanding enriches our broader picture of life's history and the many ways creatures adapt to thrive in an ever-changing world. The image of tiny dinosaurs often brings to mind crawling hatchlings or helpless juveniles, scenes reminiscent of young animals in modern ecosystems. For many years, this assumption that small dinosaur fossils belonged primarily to the young of larger species obscured an essential truth: that numerous dinosaur species were small-sized adults, fully grown, and perfectly adapted to their ecological niches. Distinguishing juvenile dinosaurs from these genuinely small adult forms is a complex yet crucial part of paleontological research. It unlocks a clearer understanding of dinosaur diversity, growth patterns, and evolution. The challenge arises because dinosaur bones grow and change dramatically over their lifetimes, much like modern reptiles or birds. Juvenile dinosaurs, which start life small, undergo substantial morphological transformations as they age. changes not only in size, but also in bone texture, shape, and the fusion of skeletal elements. This dynamic growth stage, called ontogeny, means that a small bone might be a baby's bone, or a bone from an extremely small adult species. Misinterpreting these signals can result in underestimating species diversity or misclassifying fossils. Early paleontologists, working with limited specimens, often struggled to differentiate juvenile dinosaurs from small adult dinosaurs. Fragmentary fossils and isolated bones lack the context that could reveal whether they belong to a young individual or a small species. Historically, many tiny fossils were simply assumed to be juveniles, especially if they resembled larger species, but on a smaller scale. This mindset persisted because the overwhelming majority of well-known dinosaurs were large species, reinforcing the idea that all small dinosaurs must be immature individuals. Modern science, equipped with advances in technology and methodology, began to overturn these assumptions. One critical method used today is histology, the microscopic examination of fossilized bone tissue. Bone histology reveals growth patterns such as annual growth rings, akin to those found in trees. Scientists analyze these rings to determine the age of the dinosaur at death and assess whether the growth patterns are consistent with juvenile or adult stages. In many cases, this approach has revealed that tiny dinosaur fossils exhibit mature bone structures, indicating that these specimens represent fully grown adults rather than young individuals. Another important clue arises from the degree of bone fusion. In adult dinosaurs, certain skeletal elements, like vertebrae, limb bones, or the skull, show fused sutures indicating skeletal maturity. In contrast, juvenile specimens often have these bones separated or less fused. Detailed anatomical studies of fossils have helped paleontologists recognize morphologies unique to adult small species as opposed to juvenile stages of larger species. Consider the case of the tiny dinosaur Microraptor, a crow-sized dromaeosaurid. Early on, some scientists questioned whether the tiny fossils were juveniles of larger relatives. However, careful bone analysis and histology demonstrated that these animals were small adults, exhibiting features inconsistent with juvenile forms, such as fully developed wing feathers and fused bones important for flight. This evidence confirmed Microraptor as a genuine miniature dinosaur species, not a baby. Growth series, collections of fossils of the same species at different life stages, provide further evidence. When multiple specimens are available, scientists can trace the changes in size and morphology through the dinosaur's development. These growth series illuminate the growth trajectory and confirm whether small size reflects youth or a species' adult condition. In some small dinosaur groups, growth curves plateau at relatively small sizes, reaffirming that these dinosaurs were tiny even as adults. Additionally, the discovery of tiny adult dinosaurs challenges the simplistic view that all dinosaurs grew continuously until they became enormous. Instead, it reveals a fascinating evolutionary phenomenon: miniaturization. Some dinosaur lineages evolved to become smaller, not through limitation, but as an adaptive strategy. Miniaturization allowed them to exploit different ecological niches, such as arboreal habitats or specialized diets, unavailable to large dinosaurs. This reinforces the idea that size alone does not determine evolutionary success. Understanding the distinction between juveniles and adults also informs interpretations of behavior, ecology, and life history. Juveniles of large dinosaurs likely had different survival strategies, feeding habits, and vulnerabilities compared to their adult forms. Confusing them with small adult species can mislead reconstructions of dinosaur communities and interactions. Moreover, This distinction matters greatly for taxonomy, the classification of species. Failing to recognize small adults can lead to underestimates of species diversity or erroneous synonymization, where distinct species are mistaken for juvenile stages of known dinosaurs. Conversely, recognizing the existence of tiny adults brings new species to light, expanding our appreciation of dinosaur biodiversity. The ongoing refinement of methods, including high-resolution imaging, three-dimensional scanning, and biomechanical modeling, further aids paleontologists in distinguishing juveniles from adults. These tools allow scientists to examine even the smallest fossils in incredible detail, revealing growth stages and subtle anatomical distinctions. This technological progress accelerates the identification of tiny adult dinosaurs and refines their place in the tree of life. In summary, the realization that many tiny dinosaur fossils represent fully grown adults rather than juveniles transforms our understanding of dinosaur evolution and diversity. This recognition underscores that dinosaurs were not just enormous beasts, but included a vast range of sizes, each with their own unique adaptations and evolutionary journeys. It opens the door to appreciating the rich tapestry of life that flourished during the Mesozoic era. With this foundation, our next chapter will explore how modern technology has revolutionized paleontology, enabling scientists to uncover and study tiny fossils previously hidden in stone or overlooked. These tools not only facilitate the discovery of small dinosaurs, but also deepen insights into their anatomy, behavior, and evolution, continuing to reshape our understanding of the ancient world. As we journey deeper into the realm of tiny dinosaurs, it's impossible to overstate the transformative impact of technology on paleontology, particularly in uncovering and understanding the smallest members of the dinosaur family. For decades, the limitations of traditional fossil excavation and analysis constrained what scientists could achieve. Small dinosaur fossils, fragile, minuscule, and often embedded within challenging rock matrices, were frequently overlooked or damaged during extraction. However, technological breakthroughs over recent decades have revolutionized how paleontologists detect, extract, visualize, and analyze these precious finds, bringing to light entire lineages of tiny dinosaurs once hidden beneath layers of stone and time. Traditional fossil hunting typically involved painstaking manual excavation using chisels, brushes, and picks. While effective for uncovering large bones, these methods risked missing or destroying small and delicate specimens. Tiny fossils, often no larger than a coin or fingernail, blend easily into surrounding sediment or fragment under careless handling. Recognizing this, researchers began adopting more refined, meticulous excavation techniques, including micro-excavation tools and consolidants that strengthen fragile fossils during preparation. But the most radical advancements have come from imaging and scanning technologies that allow visualization of fossils without physical disturbance. One of the most groundbreaking tools is microcomputed tomography, or micro-CT scanning. This technique uses X-rays to capture detailed, three-dimensional images of fossils entirely encased in rock. The result is a virtual reconstruction revealing hidden structures invisible to the naked eye. For tiny dinosaurs, micro-CT scanning permits examination of bone shapes, internal anatomy, and delicate features such as tiny feathers or brain cases, a feat impossible just a few decades ago. Scientists can slice through the fossil layer by layer digitally, avoiding risks of damaging fragile specimens while uncovering astonishing anatomical details. For example, Micro-CT has unveiled the intricate inner ear structure of tiny dinosaur skulls, helping infer balance and hearing capacities and shedding light on their behavior and sensory abilities. Complementing Micro-CT, Synchrotron radiation tomography employs high-energy X-rays generated in particle accelerators to deliver even finer resolution scans. Operating like a powerful microscope, this technique enables observation of cellular structures within fossilized bone, such as growth rings and vascular canals. These microscopic insights inform understanding of growth rates, age, and metabolism in tiny dinosaurs, enriching knowledge about their life histories. Another technological advancement is scanning electron microscopy, zoom, which magnifies fossil surfaces thousands of times, revealing textures and microstructures of fossilized skin, feathers, or bone. SM studies have helped confirm the existence and structure of feathers on small theropods, affirming their link to modern birds and providing clues about thermoregulation, display, or camouflage. In the field, advances in remote sensing and drone technology enable precise mapping of excavation sites. High-resolution aerial imagery helps locate promising fossil beds and understand geological contexts, essential for interpreting how and where tiny dinosaurs lived. GPS and laser scanning systems generate detailed 3D models of dig sites, preserving spatial information that informs paleoecological reconstructions. Digital modeling and printing technologies have further propelled research. Once scanned, fossil data can be transformed into physical 3D models, exact replicas of ancient bones, used for study, education, and preservation. This ability to handle and manipulate miniature dinosaur skeletons facilitates biomechanical analyses, reconstructing movement, flight capabilities, and feeding mechanisms with unprecedented accuracy. Advances in geochemical analyses, including isotope studies and chemical mapping, provide additional tools for understanding tiny dinosaurs' diets, habitats, and paleo-environmental conditions. These methods analyze microscopic remnants trapped within fossilized remains, revealing clues about climate, vegetation, and food webs in ancient ecosystems. Molecular paleontology, while still emerging, holds promise as well. Traces of organic molecules, proteins, or pigment residues detected in exceptionally preserved small dinosaur fossils shed light on coloration patterns and soft tissues that rarely fossilize. These details enrich reconstructions of appearance and behavior. The combination of these technological innovations has dramatically increased the discovery rate and interpretive depth regarding tiny dinosaurs. Fossils that once could only be hinted at in fragmented form now provide comprehensive portraits of anatomy and lifestyle. The tiny dinosaurs have stepped into the scientific spotlight, no longer mere footnotes to their giant contemporaries, but recognized as fascinating, fully realized creatures. Furthermore, technology has enabled collaboration across disciplines. Paleontologists, geologists, biologists, and engineers share data and tools, yielding integrative insights impossible within isolated fields. Digital databases and open access to 3D fossil scans promote global research cooperation and public engagement. Importantly, these advances also enrich the experience for museum-goers and students. Interactive exhibits employing 3D projections, virtual reality, and augmented reality bring tiny dinosaurs to life in immersive detail, sparking curiosity and wonder beyond static skeleton displays. While challenges remain, tiny fossils are still inherently fragile and rare, and analyzing them demands significant resources. The rapid pace of technological progress heralds an exciting future. As imaging techniques improve and analytical methods become more sophisticated and cost-effective, our ability to explore the ancient microcosms where tiny dinosaurs thrived will expand profoundly. The delicate whispers of these miniature creatures, once lost to history's roar of giants, now speak clearly through the lens of modern technology. This technology-driven renaissance transforms tiny dinosaurs from elusive curiosities into compelling protagonists of the prehistoric story, enriching our understanding of evolution, ecology, and the intricate web of life stretching back millions of years. Up next, we will journey into one of the most remarkable micro-sized dinosaurs known to science, Compsognathus, delving into its anatomy, lifestyle, and significance as a flagship example of these captivating miniature denizens of the Mesozoic world. Among the intriguing cast of tiny dinosaurs, Compsognathus stands out as one of the most remarkable and historically significant miniature species. Often affectionately dubbed Compy in popular culture, this small but captivating creature provides a window into the diversity and adaptations of diminutive dinosaurs that thrived in the shadows of their larger peers. Examining Compsognathus in detail reveals not only its distinctive anatomy and lifestyle, but also the broader scientific insights it offers into the Mesozoic ecosystem and dinosaur evolution. Discovered in the late 19th century, Compsognathus was one of the earliest small dinosaurs to be described by paleontologists. The first fossils were unearthed in Germany in the Solnhofen limestone deposits, which are famous for their exquisite preservation of late Jurassic life, roughly 150 million years ago. These fossils immediately challenged the prevailing notion that dinosaurs were exclusively giants. Measuring around 1 meter in length, about the size of a medium-sized turkey or a large domestic cat, Compsognathus was a small theropod dinosaur that captured scientific and public attention. Anatomically, Compsognathus exhibits many traits that allowed it to be a swift, agile predator. Its lightweight, gracile build featured slender legs well adapted for running, a long and flexible tail for balance, and sharp, curved teeth suited for capturing small prey. Unlike the massive jaws and crushing teeth of enormous theropods like Allosaurus or Tyrannosaurus, Compsognathus's dentition indicates a diet dominated by small creatures such as insects, lizards, or small mammals. This points toward a different ecological niche compared to the giant carnivores of its time. One of the most enchanting aspects of Compsognathus is its place in the evolutionary story leading toward modern birds. Though not a direct ancestor, it belongs to a group of small bipedal theropods that share key skeletal features with early bird-like dinosaurs. Its long, delicate fingers and lightweight bones hint at the evolutionary experimentation with agility, balance, and potentially even the primitive beginnings of feather development. Although fossil evidence of feathers on Compsognathus itself is currently lacking, related species provide strong evidence that feathering was widespread among small theropods, possibly contributing to temperature regulation, camouflage, or display. The rich Solnhofen limestone deposits that yielded Compsognathus fossils are incredibly valuable because they preserve delicate details rarely fossilized elsewhere, including impressions of skin or feathers in associated species and stomach contents. Remarkably, fossil specimens of Compsognathus have been found with remains of small lizards in their guts, offering direct evidence of diet and hunting behavior. These snapshots into daily life add vivid texture to our understanding of how this tiny predator lived and thrived. Compsognathus also serves as an important specimen for understanding the challenges and rewards of studying tiny dinosaurs. The small size of the fossils initially made it difficult to judge whether they represented juveniles or adults, a question we've discussed earlier. Over time, histological analyses and detailed anatomical comparisons have confirmed these specimens as adults of a small species, reinforcing the notion that small size was indeed an evolved trait, not just a stage in development. Beyond anatomy and ecology, Compsognathus holds a special place in the history of paleontology and culture. It was featured in early scientific reconstructions and even appeared briefly in popular films, often portrayed as a small, ravenous dinosaur darting about amid the towering giants. Its close resemblance to birds inspired early hypotheses about the dinosaur-bird connection, hypotheses now awesomely confirmed by myriad fossil discoveries of feathered theropods. Studying Compsognathus not only helps reconstruct the life of one tiny dinosaur, but also frames broader questions about evolutionary strategies like miniaturization. Why did these small theropods evolve and flourish alongside giants? What advantages did their size confer, and how did it influence their survival during dramatic environmental changes? The answers gleaned from these questions help illuminate the complexity of Mesozoic ecosystems. Compsognathus's story also emphasizes the importance of fine-scale fossil analysis. Its unassuming fossils have contributed to major shifts in scientific understandings by demonstrating that true dinosaur diversity includes a wide size range, intricate ecological interactions, and evolutionary pathways that eventually gave rise to today's birds. As we continue exploring tiny dinosaurs, Compsognathus sets a fascinating benchmark, a remarkable miniature that embodies the diversity, adaptability, and evolutionary significance of small Mesozoic dinosaurs, creatures whose lives invite us to look beyond the giants and appreciate the delicate intricacies of prehistoric life. Up next, we'll explore Anchiornis, a tiny dinosaur that serves as a fascinating bridge in the avian lineage, revealing even more about the feathered world of birds and their dinosaur ancestors. As we transition from the tale of Compsognathus, a remarkable miniature dinosaur, we delve now into a creature that sits at a pivotal crossroads in the evolution of birds. A tiny dinosaur named Anchiornis. Anchiornis plays a profound role in illuminating the intimate relationship between non-avian dinosaurs and modern birds, serving as a stunning testament to the evolutionary journey from earthbound reptiles to the feathered flyers populating our skies today. This link enriches our understanding of the ancient past and blurs the lines once drawn sharply between dinosaurs and birds. Anchiornis hails from the late Jurassic period, approximately 160 million years ago, with fossils unearthed primarily from the beds of northeastern China. Measuring roughly the size of a modern crow, about 30 to 40 centimeters in length, Anchiornis is a small feathered theropod dinosaur whose remarkably preserved fossils offer detailed insights into anatomy, plumage, and, by extension, behavior. Its diminutive size and feather-covered body place it in what paleontologists consider the direct evolutionary lineage that eventually gave rise to birds. What makes Anchiornis exceptional and essential is the extraordinary quality of its fossil preservation. Unlike many fossils that reveal only bones, specimens of Anchiornis have preserved impressions of feathers in fine detail. These fossils allow scientists to reconstruct what it looked like more accurately than almost any other dinosaur of its size and time. The feathers cover much of its body, including the wings, legs, and tail, arranged in arrays that hint at complex feather structures akin to modern birds' plumage. Detailed analysis of these fossils reveals that Anchiornis possessed feathers with intricate nanostructures capable of producing iridescent colors, suggesting this dinosaur was visually striking. Such coloration, metallic blues and blacks interspersed with white, likely played roles in camouflage, mating displays, or species recognition, much like plumage does in living birds. This demonstrates that feathers had diverse functions long before powered flight evolved. Anatomically, Anchiornis showcases characteristics that bridge traditional distinctions between birds and their dinosaurian ancestors. It sported a combination of primitive and more advanced traits: sharp, serrated teeth, three-fingered hands with claws, a long, bony tail, and a lightly built skull. Yet, it also possessed bird-like features such as a pronounced breastbone, a key anchor point for flight muscles, and wing feathers arranged in aerodynamic patterns. The skeletal structure suggests that Anchiornis was likely capable of some form of controlled gliding, or possibly even limited powered flight, though not on the scale of modern birds. Its legs bore long feathers forming a second set of wings, a unique adaptation among known dinosaurs. This four-winged arrangement has captivated scientists as it provides clues to how flight may have evolved stepwise from gliding ancestors, improving aerodynamics and control before achieving full-powered flight. From an evolutionary perspective, Anchiornis provides crucial supporting evidence for the theory that birds arose from small, feathered theropods closely related to dromaeosaurs and troodontids. In fact, it is often classified within these groups, reflecting their shared ancestry. This genetic and morphological linkage suggests that many bird features, feathers, flight-related skeleton modifications, and even complex behaviors, originated well before the famed Archaeopteryx, long considered the iconic first bird. The discovery of Anchiornis and related feathered dinosaurs has dramatically reshaped both scientific and popular conceptions of dinosaurs. It underscores that feathers were not solely the invention of birds, but were widespread among various dinosaur groups, serving multiple purposes beyond flight: thermoregulation, camouflage, and communication. Furthermore, Anchiornis challenges earlier perceptions of dinosaurs as slow, scaly behemoths. It reveals a world buzzing with vibrant, small creatures exhibiting complex behaviors and adaptations, some of which directly paved the way for the spectacular success of birds. This insight invites us to appreciate the dinosaur-bird transition as a gradual evolutionary continuum rather than a sudden leap. By examining Anchiornis, we glimpse the fascinating past where the seeds of avian flight were sown, where the first feathers danced in the Jurassic light, and where tiny dinosaurs carved their existence in a changing world. Its fossils act as a bridge across deep time, connecting the distant past of the Mesozoic with the living avifauna surrounding us. Our next exploration takes us further into the origins of flight as we study Microraptor, one of the most extraordinary four-winged dinosaurs ever found. Its unique anatomy and feathers illuminate critical steps in the evolutionary innovation that culminated in the birds we know today, deepening our understanding of this remarkable transformation. At the heart of the evolutionary saga that bridges the ancient dinosaurs to today's birds lies one of the most extraordinary and illuminating creatures ever discovered: Microraptor. This tiny, enigmatic dinosaur provides an exceptional glimpse into the origins of flight, tracing crucial steps in the development of one of nature's most spectacular innovations: avian flight. By studying Microraptor, scientists have unraveled a chapter of deep evolutionary history that challenges previous theories and deepens our understanding of how dinosaurs soared the skies long before the first true birds took flight. Microraptor lived during the early Cretaceous period, approximately 120 million years ago, in what is now northeastern China. Measuring about the size of a crow, Microraptor was a small, feathered dromaeosaurid theropod, remarkable for its anatomical adaptations that hint at a unique mode of locomotion. Unlike other dinosaurs, Microraptor possessed long, pennaceous feathers, strong, aerodynamic feathers, on both its forelimbs and hind limbs. This configuration created a four-winged, or tetrapteryx, form, a feature that has captivated paleontologists and sparked vibrant scientific debate. The discovery of Microraptor in the near-pristine fossil beds of the Liaoning province revealed that feathers and flight-related traits were far more widespread and varied among non-avian dinosaurs than previously thought. These fossils preserved not only skeletons, but also detailed impressions of feathers, allowing researchers to reconstruct the creature's likely appearance and gliding capabilities. The hindlimb wings were long enough and feathered with such precision that they could generate lift, suggesting Microraptor didn't only use its forelimbs for flight or gliding, but depended on all four limbs in aerial maneuvers. This four-winged design brings important insights into a possible evolutionary pathway for flight. Earlier models had assumed that the ancestors of birds developed flight primarily from the forelimbs alone, with feathers evolving initially for insulation or display and later co-opted for powered flight. However, Microraptor's anatomy suggests a more complex story, where gliding and controlled aerial descent might have involved all four limbs to maximize stability and maneuverability. Such adaptations could have provided evolutionary advantages in forested environments, allowing Microraptor to leap between trees, evade predators, and hunt agile prey. Further biomechanical modeling and wind tunnel experiments support this hypothesis, indicating that Microraptor was capable of controlled gliding and possibly short bursts of powered flight. Its tail feathers formed a broad, flattened surface that likely acted as a rudder during flight, contributing to steering and balance. The small but sharp claws on its feet could have allowed climbing, reinforcing the idea that Microraptor was arboreal, spending considerable time in the treetops. Microraptor's discovery reinforced the evolutionary concept that feathers evolved initially for purposes other than flight, such as insulation, camouflage, and communication, and that flight itself arose through intermediate stages like gliding. This mosaic evolution, where flight-related traits accumulated gradually, stands in contrast to earlier views of a sudden, dramatic emergence of avian flight. Importantly, Microraptor is not considered a direct ancestor of modern birds, but rather a close relative on a side branch of the dinosaur family tree. Its presence highlights the diversity and evolutionary experimentation characteristic of the dinosaur-bird transition, showing that multiple lineages independently evolved flight or flight-like capabilities. The insights gained from Microraptor also deepen our appreciation for the complex interactions between ecology and evolution. Living in dense forests filled with arboreal prey and predators, selection pressures favored innovative locomotion strategies. The evolution of gliding and flight offered access to new food sources, evasion from predators, and spatial niches inaccessible to less versatile species. Beyond its scientific significance, Microraptor captures the imagination because it personifies a crucial evolutionary leap. It invites us to envision a Jurassic and Cretaceous world where the skies were not empty, but filled with tiny feathered gliders, the ancestors of the birds we see today. It underscores that flight, one of nature's most remarkable adaptations, arose through incremental steps rather than monstrous leaps. As we continue first-hand explorations of tiny dinosaurs, the story of Microraptor intertwines with narratives of other small theropods, shedding light on how evolution leveraged size, feathers, and anatomical novelty to solve the challenges of aerial locomotion. This chapter of evolution weaves a rich tapestry of life, where boundaries between dinosaur and bird blur, reminding us that modern birds are living descendants of these diminutive pioneers. Next, we will turn our attention to the broader world of tiny carnivorous dinosaurs, examining how small predators thrived in prehistoric landscapes, each adapting remarkable strategies to survive and prosper in an environment shared with the enormous giants that dominate our popular imagination. In the vast tapestry of the Mesozoic era, when colossal titanosaurs roamed alongside fearsome theropods like Tyrannosaurus rex, it's tempting to overlook a compelling cast of predators operating on a vastly smaller scale. Yet, tiny carnivorous dinosaurs were an essential element of prehistoric ecosystems, demonstrating that ferocity and survival do not require enormous size. In fact, these small predators, often no bigger than a modern-day dog or even a crow, utilized unique adaptations and strategies to thrive in a landscape dominated by giants. Exploring the diverse world of these miniature hunters reveals how they carved out ecological niches with remarkable ingenuity. Small carnivorous dinosaurs belonged predominantly to the clade Theropoda, the group that includes some of the largest predatory dinosaurs, but also many diminutive species. Among them, members of groups like dromaeosaurids, famously including Velociraptor and Microraptor, troodontids, and Compsognathids, stood out for their agility, intelligence, and specialized hunting methods. These small predators were often agile bipeds equipped with sharp teeth and claws, capable of hunting insects, small vertebrates, and even the young of other species. One defining characteristic of many tiny carnivorous dinosaurs was their keen sensory abilities. For example, troodontids possessed some of the largest brains relative to body size among non-avian dinosaurs, implying advanced sensory processing and possibly complex behaviors. They had large eyes adapted for excellent vision, perhaps indicating crepuscular or nocturnal habits. Such evolutionary traits allowed these predators to be effective hunters, stalking prey through dense underbrush or hunting at low light, a strategy quite different from the brute force tactics of larger predators. Dromaeosaurids like Microraptor, as previously discussed, provided another blueprint for small carnivore success. Their four-winged anatomy enabled controlled gliding, which could be used to ambush prey from above or escape danger quickly. Sharp, curved claws, especially the famous sickle claw on the second toe, allowed them to grasp and immobilize prey, making them formidable despite their size. Their feathers likely played multiple roles, including camouflage and display, helping them blend into forested habitats or communicate with peers. Compsognathids, such as Compsognathus, were smaller still, but equally effective carnivores. These light, fleet-footed hunters specialized in snapping up small reptiles, mammals, and insects. Their slender jaws and numerous tiny, sharp teeth were perfectly adapted for a diet consisting of small, fast-moving prey. The discovery of lizard remains in the stomachs of some fossil specimens provides direct evidence of their dietary preferences. Adaptability also marked these predators. Small carnivorous dinosaurs occupied a wide range of habitats, from dense forests to plains, and some showed signs of semi-arboreal or fully arboreal lifestyles. This expanded their opportunities to hunt different prey and avoid larger predators. Their relatively small size meant they required less food and could survive in ecological niches where large carnivores could not compete. Interestingly, many tiny carnivorous dinosaurs also exhibited complex social behaviors. Fossil evidence, including trackways and bone beds containing multiple individuals, suggests that some species may have hunted in packs or exhibited parental care, strategies that would increase hunting efficiency and survival rates. Such sociality, once thought rare in dinosaurs, is increasingly recognized as a feature of many small theropods. From an evolutionary perspective, the existence and success of these miniature predators reaffirm that natural selection favors a diversity of sizes and strategies. While large apex predators dominated in power, small carnivores wielded speed, cunning, and specialized anatomical adaptations to establish their own predator-prey dynamics. Their evolutionary lineage also connects directly with modern birds of prey, providing a fascinating window into the origins of avian hunting behaviors. The study of these tiny carnivores enriches our broader understanding of Mesozoic ecosystems. They played critical roles not only as predators controlling populations of insects and small vertebrates, but also as prey for larger dinosaurs, representing a vital intermediary in food webs. Their presence ensured ecological complexity and the efficient cycling of energy through the environment. However, studying these diminutive predators presents unique challenges. Their small, delicate bones are less likely to fossilize and are harder to find and identify relative to larger dinosaurs. Yet, thanks to ongoing advances in paleontological methods and targeted searches, researchers are steadily uncovering more species and details about their morphology and behavior. In exploring these small carnivorous dinosaurs, we begin to appreciate the Mesozoic world not as a monolith dominated solely by giants, but as a vibrant realm filled with creatures of all sizes, each uniquely adapted to their niche. Their stories of survival, hunting, and adaptation speak to the intricate balance of life millions of years ago, and to the enduring principle that size, while important, is only one of many factors driving evolutionary success. Next, we will turn to the plant-eating counterparts of these miniatures, uncovering how herbivorous pygmies contributed to the diversity and richness of dinosaur life, demonstrating that even in small bodies, nature crafted complexity and resilience. Amidst the rich diversity of tiny dinosaurs, the herbivorous species, often referred to as plant-eating pygmies, played equally fascinating and vital roles in Mesozoic ecosystems. While the carnivorous miniature dinosaurs captured attention for their agility and predatory behaviors, the smaller herbivores demonstrated that size reduction was a successful evolutionary strategy for grazers and browsers as well, allowing them to thrive in specialized niches alongside their larger, more famous herbivorous counterparts, like the towering sauropods. Exploring these diminutive herbivores reveals a lesser-known but essential chapter of the prehistoric world, where ecosystems were balanced by a myriad of diets, body sizes, and survival strategies. Herbivorous miniatures evolved in several dinosaur groups, including the early ornithischians and small members of the more diverse hadrosaurids and ceratopsians. These animals often measured less than 2 meters in length, with some species no larger than a domestic dog or even smaller, making them among the smallest known dinosaurs to subsist primarily on plants. Their size gave them access to unique food sources unavailable to larger herbivores: low-lying vegetation, fruits, seeds, and tender shoots that giant sauropods and armored stegosaurs might overlook. One notable example is Fruitidens, a tiny heterodontosaurid from the late Jurassic, which stood barely knee-high. Its name, meaning Fruita tooth, refers to the rich fossil beds of Fruita, Colorado, where it was discovered. Despite its small size, Fruitidens possessed a varied dentition, including incisors, cheek teeth, and specialized caniniform teeth. This dental variety suggests an omnivorous diet, but largely focused on plants such as seeds and fruits, possibly supplemented by small insects. Its teeth were well suited for cropping vegetation and processing food efficiently, critical for an animal with a high metabolism required to sustain its active lifestyle. Another example is Lesothosaurus, an early ornithischian from the early Jurassic of southern Africa. Measuring about 1 meter or less in length, Lesothosaurus was a swift, agile biped adapted to nibbling on small plants. Its simple but effective teeth indicate it fed on ferns, cycads, and other ground vegetation common in its environment. The small size and agility likely served as a defense mechanism, enabling it to evade predators instead of relying on size or armor. The diminutive size of these herbivores also carried advantages in reproduction and life history. Smaller animals often reach maturity faster and produce offspring more rapidly than larger ones. This reproductive efficiency would have been beneficial amid fluctuating environmental conditions, helping small herbivores maintain stable populations. Their size allowed them to exploit niche microhabitats such as dense underbrush, forest floors, or even rocky outcrops, where competition with larger grazers was minimal. Morphologically, these small herbivorous dinosaurs displayed adaptations suited for their diet and lifestyle. Many had lightweight skeletons and long hind limbs for quick movement, aiding in predator avoidance. Their jaws and beaks, often sharp and keratinized, were perfect tools for clipping vegetation efficiently. Some species might have possessed cheek-like structures to hold food while chewing, a feature suggesting advanced processing capabilities, considering their small dentition. Interestingly, the evolution of herbivory among small dinosaurs challenges the assumption that large body size is necessary to digest tough vegetation. Small herbivorous dinosaurs likely fed on softer, more digestible plant parts, and some may have supplemented their diet with other food sources like insects or small animals. Their digestive systems, while not as massive as those of sauropods, were likely specialized for extracting maximum nutrition. For instance, through rapid food processing or fermentation in gut chambers, a hypothesis supported by studies of related modern herbivores. The presence of herbivorous miniatures underscores the diversity of feeding strategies and ecological roles flourishing during the Mesozoic. They fed not only the ecosystem with their grazing, but also sustained a variety of predators as prey species. Their interactions with the plant world also had cascading effects: seed dispersal, pruning of plants, and even influencing plant evolution through selective feeding pressures. From an evolutionary perspective, plant-eating pygmies exemplify how miniaturization can serve as a successful adaptive strategy, facilitating survival and diversification in changing environments. Their existence reflects complex ecosystems teeming with life at every scale and reinforces that even the smallest creatures could impact the broader ecological landscape dramatically. Studying these tiny herbivores requires careful attention, as their delicate bones and often fragmented fossils can be challenging to distinguish. Nonetheless, with modern excavation methods and refined analytical techniques, paleontologists continue uncovering new species and information, enriching our understanding of their ecology and evolution. As we proceed, the story of these small herbivores will intertwine with geographic and environmental influences, leading us to the phenomenon of island dwarfism, how isolated environments shaped the evolution of miniature dinosaurs. This next chapter reveals how geography and ecology combined to produce some of the tiniest dinosaurs ever known, expanding our appreciation for life's adaptability across the ancient world. Among the many fascinating factors shaping the evolution of tiny dinosaurs, one particularly intriguing phenomenon is island dwarfism, a process where geographic isolation and limited resources lead to the emergence of significantly smaller animals than their mainland relatives. Islands, by their very nature, impose unique environmental pressures such as limited food availability, restricted habitats, and fewer predators, all of which can drive evolutionary changes favoring smaller body sizes. Understanding island dwarfism in dinosaurs not only illuminates the origins of some miniature species, but also highlights the profound influence geography and environment exerted on dinosaur diversity. Island dwarfism is a phenomenon observed widely throughout the animal kingdom, from the pygmy elephants and hippos of prehistoric islands to modern examples like the tiny deer of certain islands. This evolutionary trend often arises over relatively short geological timescales, sometimes within a few generations, when animals adapt to the constraints imposed by their insular surroundings. Dinosaurs were no exception to this phenomenon, particularly toward the later periods of the Mesozoic era, when fluctuating sea levels and continental fragmentation created numerous island habitats. During the late Cretaceous, Fluctuating sea levels and tectonic activity led to the formation of many islands and archipelagos across what is now Europe, parts of Asia, and other regions. These isolated land masses served as natural laboratories for evolutionary experiments. The fossil record from some of these islands preserves evidence of dwarf dinosaur species that evolved independently from their larger mainland relatives. One compelling example is Europasaurus holgeri, discovered in the late Jurassic deposits of northern Germany, which was part of an archipelago during that period. This small sauropod dinosaur measured only about 6 meters, 20 feet, long, substantially smaller than its gigantic relatives, whose lengths could exceed 30 meters. Histological studies show that Europasaurus individuals stopped growing much earlier, indicating that their small size represented a true adult condition, not juvenile forms. The limited resources on the island habitat likely favored smaller body sizes that demanded fewer nutritional requirements, while still allowing them to exploit their ecological niches effectively. Similarly, fossils from Hatzeg Island, a late Cretaceous island in what is now Romania, have yielded some of the most celebrated examples of island dwarfism in dinosaurs. The so-called Hatzeg dwarfs include several species of ceratopsians, hadrosaurids, and theropods that evolved markedly smaller sizes than their mainland counterparts. For example, Magyarosaurus dacus, a titanosaur sauropod from that region, measured only about 6 to 8 meters long compared to the typical much larger sizes of other titanosaurs. The unique insular environment imposed pressures that prioritized smaller body sizes, allowing these dinosaurs to survive in restricted habitats where large animals would otherwise struggle. The mechanisms driving dwarfism on islands encompass ecological and physiological factors. Reduced resource availability curtails growth potential because less food translates to less energy for sustaining massive bodies. Predation pressures can also alter. Some islands lack large predators, reducing the need for gigantism as a defense mechanism. Conversely, in certain cases, smaller size aids in evading predators or navigating complex terrain, such as dense forests or rocky landscapes common on islands. These selective pressures combined promote a trend toward the evolution of smaller adult body sizes. Additionally, island dwarfism is often linked with changes in reproductive strategies and life history. Smaller dinosaurs may have reached sexual maturity earlier and had shorter lifespans, traits advantageous for survival in unstable and resource-limited environments. These evolutionary adjustments allowed populations to persist and adapt despite environmental constraints. Studying island dwarfism also offers broader insights into the dynamics of extinction and survival. The uniqueness of island species often comes with heightened vulnerability, as limited ranges and populations can be greatly impacted by environmental changes or invasive species. Understanding these ancient island ecosystems helps illuminate where and how some dinosaur lineages thrived or declined in the face of dramatic Earth history events. Moreover, the phenomenon of dwarfism challenges traditional assumptions about dinosaur gigantism as a universal rule. It reveals that evolutionary trends are context-dependent, with size modulation serving as an adaptive tool rather than a fixed destiny. Islands acted as crucibles of evolutionary diversity, highlighting nature's capacity to customize life to fit every corner of the planet, even small, isolated patches of land surrounded by water. Technological advances, such as precise dating methods, isotopic analyses, and computed tomography, CT scanning of fossils, have been indispensable in studying island dwarfs. These tools clarify growth patterns, physiology, and paleo-environmental conditions, enabling researchers to reconstruct the lives of these fascinating miniature giants accurately. In conclusion, island dwarfism represents a profound intersection of geography, environment, and evolution. Through it, tiny dinosaurs emerged not simply by shrinking, but by adapting intelligently to their unique ecological circumstances. This phenomenon enriches our understanding of dinosaur diversity and evolution, showing how the ancient world was shaped by complex factors leading to extraordinary forms of life. Following this exploration of island dwarfism, we journey next into the microhabitats of the Mesozoic era, investigating the diverse environmental niches these tiny dinosaurs inhabited, and how their surroundings influenced their survival, behavior, and evolution. By examining these intimate habitats, we deepen our connection to a past life brimming with complexity and wonder. To truly grasp the life and survival strategies of tiny dinosaurs, it is essential to immerse ourselves in the world they inhabited, the diverse microhabitats of the Mesozoic era. Unlike the simplified landscapes often portrayed in popular media, the environments of the Mesozoic were intricately varied, encompassing dense forests, river valleys, arid plains, coastal lagoons, and island archipelagos. Within these complex settings, tiny dinosaurs occupied specialized niches, exploiting microhabitats that shaped their physiology, behavior, and evolution. Microhabitats refer to small, specific environmental areas within a larger ecosystem that offer distinct conditions such as moisture, temperature, vegetation, and shelter. These localized niches are especially important for smaller organisms because their survival often depends on finely tuned adaptations to subtle environmental variables. For tiny dinosaurs, microhabitats provided refuge, foraging grounds, and breeding sites, enabling them to coexist alongside enormous dinosaurs with vastly different ecological requirements. Forests were among the most critical habitats for miniature dinosaurs. During the Mesozoic, conifers, cycads, ginkgos, and ferns formed lush, multi-layered canopies and dense understories. For tiny dinosaurs such as Microraptor and Anchiornis, these forests provided a rich arena for climbing, nesting, and hunting. The intricate web of branches, leaves, and fallen debris created vertical and horizontal refuges where small, agile dinosaurs could evade predators and exploit a bounty of insects and small vertebrates. Feathered limbs and grasping claws likely enhanced their ability to navigate arboreal zones, demonstrating a close link between anatomy and habitat. Near ancient rivers, lakes, and wetlands, tiny dinosaurs found habitats that balanced abundant food sources with safety. These riparian environments hosted diverse plant life, from rich undergrowth to water-loving angiosperms emerging in the later Mesozoic. Small herbivores grazed on tender shoots, while carnivores hunted amphibians, fish, or scavenged carrion. The moisture and temperature stability of these areas often encouraged prolonged activity periods and complex social behaviors like parental care or pack hunting. Muddy sediments in these zones are also responsible for preserving exquisitely detailed fossils, capturing tiny dinosaur footprints and skeletons in remarkable detail. Arid and semi-arid regions challenged tiny dinosaurs to adapt differently. Here, sparse vegetation and extreme temperatures required physiological and behavioral innovations. Some species may have developed burrowing habits or crepuscular activity patterns, being active dawn and dusk, to avoid daytime heat and predation. These microhabitats favored herbivorous pygmies capable of subsisting on tough, drought-resistant plants, or small predators adept at scavenging and opportunistic feeding. Island ecosystems, resulting from the geological fragmentation during the Mesozoic, introduced additional variability. These isolated environments, characterized by limited resources and reduced predator pressure, fostered unique communities, including the evolution of island dwarfism. Tiny dinosaurs, inhabiting islands adapted to sharp resource limitations, often developing specialized diets or behaviors. The fragile balance of island ecology meant these microhabitats were simultaneously havens offering protection and places of precarious survival. Crucial to these microhabitats was the complex interplay between vegetation and dinosaur behavior. For instance, the distribution of ferns and cycads created sheltered understories ideal for nesting sites, while flowering plants, emerging in the later Cretaceous, offered new food sources that some tiny herbivores exploited. Seasonal changes in plant phenology, like cyclical flowering and fruiting, influenced feeding and migratory behaviors, revealing an ancient rhythm between flora and fauna. Moreover, these microhabitats affected social dynamics. Shelter availability could influence whether tiny dinosaurs lived solitarily or in groups. Dense forests might encourage herding or pack behavior for better protection, while open or rugged terrains favored stealth and solitary living. Fossil sites preserving multiple individuals, often interpreted as evidence of social or parental care, underscore how microhabitat factors shaped life histories. The complexity of Mesozoic microhabitats emphasizes that size was not a limitation, but an evolutionary advantage for many dinosaurs. Their small body size allowed them to exploit niches hidden from larger animals and to evolve features supporting life in specialized environments. Excellent vision for low light, feathers for insulation or camouflage, and limbs adapted for climbing or digging. Scientific reconstructions of these environments often integrate data from geology, paleobotany, and sedimentology alongside fossil discoveries. Techniques such as palynology, the study of fossil pollen and spores, help identify ancient plant communities, while isotope analyses reveal climatic and dietary information. Together, these provide holistic views of the microhabitats that framed tiny dinosaur lives. In understanding these strikingly varied habitats, we appreciate that the Mesozoic world was a mosaic of ecological pockets, each with unique challenges and opportunities. Tiny dinosaurs thrived by specializing in these microhabitats, weaving themselves into ecological webs as hunters, grazers, and prey, contributing to the dynamic balance of prehistoric life. As we move forward in our exploration, we will examine the hidden fossil record, understanding the difficulties faced by paleontologists in uncovering evidence of these tiny creatures. By unraveling why tiny dinosaurs are so hard to find, we peer behind the veil of deep time to uncover the secrets these miniature creatures have kept for millions of years. The fossil record, a window into the ancient past, is as incomplete as it is fascinating. For tiny dinosaurs, this incompleteness is especially pronounced, making their discovery, preservation, and study a considerable scientific challenge. Understanding why tiny dinosaurs are disproportionately underrepresented in the fossil record unveils important insights not only about their biology and ecology, but also about the limitations and biases inherent in paleontology itself. First, the physical nature of tiny dinosaur bones explains much of the scarcity. These bones were delicate, thin-walled, and easily fragmented. Over millions of years, natural forces such as erosion, geological pressure, and chemical degradation tend to destroy fragile bones more readily than the robust skeletons of giants. Consequently, the remains of small dinosaurs are less likely to survive intact, reducing the likelihood they will fossilize at all. Additionally, the smaller size of their skeletons makes them inherently harder to detect during excavation. Whereas large dinosaur bones are often conspicuous in the field, sometimes partially exposed or forming sizable bone beds, tiny bones can be hidden within sediment, confused with those of other small animals, or lost amid the debris. Without meticulous sieving and screening techniques during digs, these microfossils can go unnoticed. Taphonomic processes, the chain of events from death to discovery, also contribute to the scarcity of tiny dinosaur fossils. Small carcasses are more vulnerable to scavengers, microbial decay, and environmental oxidation. They are often consumed or displaced rapidly after death, resulting in fewer remains being buried quickly enough to fossilize. Furthermore, environments conducive to fossilization, such as river floodplains or lake beds, tend to favor the preservation of larger carcasses due to sediment dynamics and rapid burial, inadvertently biasing the record toward larger species. The geological context of dig sites affects the likelihood of finding tiny dinosaurs. Some rock formations are more prone to preserving delicate fossils. However, these sites are relatively rare or difficult to access. Often, the finest preservation occurs in fine-grained sediments like limestone or shale that accumulate in low-energy environments. Such settings are patchily distributed in the rock record and geographically limited, restricting where tiny fossils might be found. Beyond natural challenges, historical biases in paleontological methodology have played a role. Early fossil collectors and researchers preferentially targeted larger bones and spectacular specimens, which naturally garnered more attention and were easier to study. Microfossils were often regarded as less scientifically significant or too troublesome to extract and analyze. Only in recent decades, aided by advances in technology and a growing appreciation for biodiversity, has the focus broadened to include the search for and study of small fossils. Modern excavation techniques have started to chisel away at these barriers. Methods such as bulk sediment sieving, fine mesh screening, and acid preparation allow for the recovery of micro-sized bone fragments. These approaches, combined with detailed microscopic examination, help identify tiny dinosaur remains that would otherwise be lost. However, this work is painstaking, time-consuming, and resource-intensive, limiting extensive surveys. Technological innovations also help overcome detection issues. High-resolution computed tomography, CT scans, and synchrotron imaging reveal hidden fossils within rock matrix without damaging specimens. These techniques have unveiled minute skeletal fragments and feather impressions in specimens that were previously inaccessible, expanding the known diversity of tiny dinosaurs. A further challenge lies in taxonomic identification. Isolated tiny bones can be difficult to assign confidently to species, especially when juvenile specimens or fragmentary remains are involved. Careful comparative anatomy, histological analysis of bone tissues, and increasingly, statistical methods and software models assist in classifying these microfossils accurately. Sometimes the discovery of additional specimens or better preserved fossils is needed for confirmation. Ecologically, the elusive fossil record has painted an incomplete picture of tiny dinosaurs' abundance and distribution. They likely played foundational roles in ecosystems, but their invisibility in many fossil assemblages has underplayed their significance. This skewed perspective is gradually shifting, correcting past misconceptions about dinosaur communities. Understanding these challenges enhances our appreciation for the effort required to uncover the stories of tiny dinosaurs. It also highlights the exciting potential for future discoveries as new sites are explored, technologies evolve, and interdisciplinary approaches mature. Each tiny fossil unearthed not only adds a piece to the puzzle of dinosaur evolution, but also magnifies the richness of prehistoric life. Looking ahead, the next chapter delves into the biological rhythms of these miniature creatures, their growth, metabolism, and life cycles, to uncover how their small size influenced their everyday existence and survival strategies in a world dominated by giants. Delving into the intricacies of growth and metabolism unveils a crucial dimension of tiny dinosaurs, their life cycles, which highlights how their small size influenced their biology, behavior, and survival strategies in a prehistoric world shared with giants. Unlike the well-studied growth patterns of large dinosaurs, the life histories of small dinosaurs hold captivating mysteries that paleontologists continue to explore with evolving techniques, reshaping our understanding of dinosaur physiology and ecology. Growth rate and metabolism are intimately linked in animals, affecting how quickly an organism matures, how much energy it requires, and how it interacts with its environment. For relatively small dinosaurs, metabolic demands were likely higher per unit of body mass than for their larger counterparts. This is because smaller animals generally have proportionally larger surface areas relative to their volume, causing heat to dissipate more rapidly. To maintain optimal body temperatures and activity levels, they would require efficient metabolic processes and adaptable physiological mechanisms. Histological studies, the microscopic examination of bone tissues, have been particularly valuable in uncovering growth patterns in tiny dinosaurs. By analyzing growth rings within fossilized bones, similar to tree rings, scientists can estimate age at death, growth rates, and the timing of maturity. Findings suggest that many small dinosaurs experienced rapid early growth phases, reaching near adult sizes within a few years. This accelerated development contrasts with the prolonged juvenile phases observed in many large dinosaurs, which sometimes took decades to reach full size. Rapid growth conferred several adaptive advantages for tiny dinosaurs. Early maturity allowed them to reproduce swiftly, enhancing their chances of passing on genes in environments where predation and resource competition were intense. Additionally, shorter generation times facilitated quicker evolutionary responses to changing habitats or climatic shifts, traits vital for survival amid the dynamic ecosystems of the Mesozoic. Metabolic rates in small dinosaurs were likely higher than in larger species, aligning closer to those of modern birds and mammals than to reptiles. This endothermic, warm-blooded physiology hypothesis is supported by features such as feather insulation and bone vascularization patterns indicative of elevated metabolism. Efficient thermoregulation would have been essential to sustain active lifestyles, including foraging, flight in avian-descended species, and social behaviors. Despite higher metabolic demands, tiny dinosaurs compensated for energy expenditure through their dietary adaptations and behaviors. Small carnivores hunted insects and small vertebrates that were abundant and could provide dense nutrition, while herbivorous pygmies selected high-quality, easily digestible plant parts to meet their energetic needs. Their agility and speed further aided efficient foraging and predator avoidance. Life cycle strategies also reflect their environmental pressures. Predation risk for small dinosaurs was significant. Hence, survival strategies likely included early maturity, high reproductive output, and possibly parental care. Fossil evidence points to nesting behaviors and care for young in some small theropods, suggesting that investing in offspring survival was part of their reproductive ecology. Comparisons to modern birds, the living descendants of some small dinosaurs, provide additional insights. Birds exhibit diverse growth rates and metabolic strategies, but generally share rapid development and high activity levels. These parallels help frame hypotheses about the physiology of small dinosaurs and emphasize continuity across evolutionary time. Moreover, investigations into metabolic and growth patterns inform broader discussions about dinosaur ecology. By understanding how small dinosaurs regulated their energy budgets, we gain perspective on their daily activity patterns, social structures, and interactions with other species. This in turn helps reconstruct more accurate paleoecological models, portraying the richness and complexity of past life. As paleontological methods become increasingly sophisticated, integrating histology, chemistry, and computational modeling, our grasp of the life cycles of tiny dinosaurs continues to sharpen. Each discovery contributes to unraveling how these miniature creatures lived, thrived, and adapted in a world dominated by titans. In the unfolding story of tiny dinosaurs, their growth and metabolism form a foundational chapter, bridging anatomy, behavior, and evolution. From here, we will explore how feathers, once considered solely a feature of modern birds, emerge as essential clues preserved in fossils that reveal further secrets about these small prehistoric lives, the subject of our next exploration. The discovery of feathers on dinosaurs revolutionized our understanding of these ancient creatures and their connection to modern birds. Among the most compelling revelations in recent decades is that many tiny dinosaurs, particularly small theropods closely related to birds, were covered in feathers. Fossils preserved with exceptional detail have provided direct evidence that feathers were far more than mere adornments. They were integral to the biology, behavior, and evolution of these miniature dinosaurs. Exploring what fossils reveal about tiny dinosaurs and their feathers enriches the story of their lives and underscores the deep ties between dinosaurs and birds. The most significant feathered dinosaur fossils have been found in the fine-grained sedimentary deposits of northeastern China, particularly the Liaoning province. These Lagerstätten, exceptional fossil sites, have preserved not only bones but also delicate soft tissues, including feather impressions and even color patterns. Over 30 species of small feathered dinosaurs have been identified from these deposits alone, representing a diverse array of forms, colors, and feather types. Feather types on tiny dinosaurs show remarkable variety. Many specimens exhibit simple filamentous feathers, which likely functioned primarily for insulation and possibly sensory purposes. Others possessed more complex pennaceous feathers, those with a central shaft and barbs forming a flat surface, similar to the flight feathers of modern birds. These complex feathers appeared on limbs, tails, and body, indicating multifaceted roles beyond thermoregulation, such as display, camouflage, stabilization during running, or aerodynamic functions. For example, Microraptor, a crow-sized dromaeosaurid, bore 4 wings, forelimbs and hindlimbs covered with long remiges, which is unique among known dinosaurs. The aerodynamic design of these feathers suggests Microraptor was capable of gliding or even powered flight, making feathers essential for locomotion. Other tiny dinosaurs, like Anchiornis, show elaborate plumage with color patterns, including iridescence revealed by microscopic analysis of melanosomes, pigment structures preserved in fossils, allowing scientists to recreate their likely vibrant appearances. Feathers also provide clues about the behavior and ecology of tiny dinosaurs. Insulating feathers suggest endothermy, or warm-bloodedness, allowing these small animals to maintain body temperature and be active in varying climates. Colorful and patterned plumage implies communication through visual signaling, for mating, territorial displays, or camouflage to evade predators. The presence of feathers on legs and tails indicates their use for balance, maneuvering, or even brooding behavior, similar to modern birds. The discovery of feathers on small dinosaurs has significant evolutionary implications. It strongly supports the idea that feathers first evolved in theropods before the emergence of flight, initially for insulation or communication. Over time, these structures were exapted for aerodynamic functions, heralding the evolution of flight in birds. This gradual transformation challenges the earlier view of feathers being unique to birds and underscores a continuum of evolutionary adaptations. Fossilized feather impressions also chronicle the diversity of feather morphologies and configurations in the Mesozoic, indicating that feathers evolved in multiple directions independently. Some species likely possessed downy feathers, others had stiff, vein-like feathers, and research continues to identify new forms, including ribbon-like structures, revealing a complex and dynamic evolutionary experiment. Advanced imaging techniques such as scanning electron microscopy and synchrotron radiation have revealed the ultrastructure of fossilized feathers, including pigment cells. These methodologies allow scientists to infer not only the color and iridescence, but also aspects of feather growth and maintenance, providing insights into the physiology of these tiny dinosaurs. While feathers have been predominantly linked to small theropods, some evidence suggests early feather-like coverings may have appeared in other dinosaur groups, widening the scope of this feature beyond feathered carnivores and potential birds. In summary, fossils have opened a remarkable window onto the lives of tiny dinosaurs, showing that feathers were crucial adaptations shaping their survival, reproduction, and evolution. They transformed these creatures from cold-blooded reptiles into warm-blooded, dynamic animals capable of dazzling displays and extraordinary locomotion. Feathers are not just a link to birds, but a testament to the complexity and inventiveness of evolution. Next, we will explore how these tiny dinosaurs lived socially, examining evidence of herds, packs, and parental care in a world where cooperation and social interaction may have been as vital for survival as flight and agility. The social lives and behaviors of tiny dinosaurs offer insight into a world far more complex and interactive than the solitary, fierce survival narrative often depicted in popular culture. Far from being isolated individuals, many small dinosaurs likely lived socially, forming herds or packs and exhibiting behaviors reminiscent of modern birds and mammals. These interactions, cooperation, parental care, and community living, were vital adaptations that enhanced survival chances in a Mesozoic environment teeming with predators and ecological challenges. Evidence supporting the social behavior of tiny dinosaurs comes from various fossil findings and modern analogies. One of the clearest clues lies in fossil assemblages, bone beds, where multiple individuals of the same species are preserved together. These groupings suggest these dinosaurs lived, traveled, or hunted in social groups, rather than randomly gathering post-mortem. For instance, several small theropod bone beds indicate pack behavior, implying cooperative hunting or mutual defense. Such social structures may have allowed these predators to take down prey larger than themselves and to watch for predators more effectively. Parental care is another intriguing aspect revealed through fossil evidence. Specimens found in nesting sites, including eggs, embryos, and juveniles in close proximity, demonstrate that some small dinosaurs invested significant effort in raising offspring. This behavior parallels many modern birds and crocodilians and suggests that parental investment increased juvenile survival in environments with high predation risk. Some small feathered dinosaurs may have even brooded their nests, using their bodies and feathers to regulate temperature, a behavior inferred from fossilized nests and comparative anatomy. Furthermore, traces of communication among small dinosaurs are hypothesized based on anatomical features. Certain crests, feather coloration, and display structures found in well-preserved fossils imply visual signaling used in social interactions, such as mate attraction or territorial disputes. Vocalization capabilities, while less traceable in fossils, are inferred from the resemblance of some dinosaur skulls and air sacs to modern birds, suggesting complex social behaviors, including calls or songs. Living in herds or packs would have demanded sophisticated behavioral coordination, potentially including hierarchies or roles within groups. This social complexity could facilitate cooperative foraging, defense, and migration strategies adapted to the shifting Mesozoic environments. Moreover, sociality would have played a key role in defense mechanisms against a world full of larger predators. Group living dilutes individual risk and facilitates coordinated escape responses, vital tactics for small animals sharing niches with giant carnivores. Social living also likely fostered learning and cultural transmission, passing knowledge between individuals about foraging sites, predator avoidance, and migratory routes. The study of tiny dinosaur sociality intertwines paleontology with behavioral ecology, involving comparisons with living relatives such as birds and reptiles. Modern birds display a remarkable variety of social behaviors, from solitary nesters to highly gregarious species, offering a window into the possible richness of dinosaur social lives. Crocodilians, the closest living relatives outside of birds, further supplement this understanding with their parental care and territoriality. Research into fossilized footprints also adds valuable information. Trackways showing groups of footprints traveling together at similar speeds support the interpretation that some tiny dinosaurs moved in coordinated groups. These discoveries lend credence to theories about migration and social foraging. Social behaviors among tiny dinosaurs challenge the image of them as vulnerable or passive. Instead, they emerge as active, organized participants in Mesozoic ecosystems, whose cooperative strategies contributed significantly to their survival and evolutionary success. Understanding these dynamics highlights the importance of behavior in evolutionary adaptation. Social living shapes ecological roles, resource use, and reproductive success, factors essential to the persistence of species over millions of years. As we continue, the next chapter will explore the daily lives of these remarkable small creatures, their hunting, foraging, and survival strategies, painting an intimate portrait of how tiny dinosaurs navigated the challenges of their world with agility, intelligence, and cooperation. To truly understand the tiny dinosaurs that once roamed the earth, we must venture beyond their bones and fossils to imagine their daily lives. The intricate activities of hunting, foraging, and survival that defined their existence in a world filled with challenges and opportunity. These diminutive creatures, though small in stature, exhibited a wealth of adaptations and behaviors tailored for thriving amid intense competition, abundant predators, and richly diverse ecosystems. Many tiny dinosaurs were active hunters, relying on their keen senses and agility to pursue and capture prey. Small carnivorous theropods, such as Compsognathus and dromaeosaurids, excelled at this lifestyle. Their sharp, serrated teeth were well suited for gripping slippery insects, lizards, or small mammals, often their primary diet. Swift reflexes and excellent vision, inferred from skull and orbital anatomy, helped them track and ambush prey in dense undergrowth or forested habitats. Some, like Microraptor, even took to the trees, using gliding capabilities to surprise prey from above or to move quickly between patches of forest canopy. Foraging, the search for food, required these tiny dinosaurs to exploit a variety of strategies. Herbivorous miniatures, such as Fruitidans or Lesothosaurus, likely took advantage of low-lying vegetation, tender shoots, seeds, and fruits. Their small size allowed them to access resources out of reach for larger herbivores, including entangled ferns or dense shrubbery. Evidence of specialized teeth and jaw structures suggests selective feeding habits optimized for these particular diets. Survival often hinged on evading predators. Tiny dinosaurs were prey to a host of larger carnivores, as well as early mammals and other reptiles. Camouflage was crucial. Many feathered species may have used coloration and patterns to blend into leafy backgrounds, dappled sunlight, or shadows. Feathers also played roles beyond insulation and flight. They aided in disguise, communication, and even intimidation. Agility and speed were vital defenses. Long legs, lightweight skeletons, and flexible bodies allowed rapid bursts of movement and nimble navigation through complex terrain. Some small species might have taken refuge in burrows or climbed trees, behaviors analogous to those of modern small mammals and birds. Their four-winged cousins, like Microraptor, could escape dangers by gliding between trees or launching quick aerial maneuvers. Social behaviors influenced daily life, too. Living in groups could mean cooperative defense, shared foraging, and increased survival rates for young. Tracks and fossil assemblages suggest coordinated movement or possible pack hunting among small theropods. Parental care, inferred from nesting fossils, implies young dinosaurs were nurtured and protected, increasing their chances during vulnerable life stages. Seasonal variations in climate and resource availability likely shaped activity patterns. Some small dinosaurs may have migrated short distances or exhibited burrowing or torpor behaviors during harsh seasons. Additionally, competition both within species and with other animals necessitated flexible feeding and behavioral strategies to optimize energy use and minimize conflict. Tiny dinosaurs navigated a complex Mesozoic world where every meal was earned, every shadow a possible threat, and miniature size was both a survival challenge and an evolutionary advantage. Their successful daily strategies demonstrate remarkable evolutionary innovation, allowing them to exploit niches impossible for larger dinosaurs. As we continue our journey, we'll explore the threats these small dinosaurs faced, the predators and environmental hazards that shaped their evolution and behavior in Enemies Great and Small, Predators and Threats to Tiny Dinosaurs. This chapter will bring into focus the precarious existence of these ancient miniatures and the delicate balance they maintained in prehistoric ecosystems. In the intricate web of Mesozoic ecosystems, tiny dinosaurs faced a multitude of enemies, both large and small, weaving a story of constant challenge and survival that shaped their evolution and behavior. Though diminutive in size, these creatures were by no means insignificant participants in their prehistoric world. Their very existence depended on navigating a gauntlet of predators, environmental hazards, and interspecific competition. Exploring the array of threats encountered by tiny dinosaurs reveals not only the risks they endured, but also the ingenious adaptations that enabled them to thrive amidst constant peril. Predation was a predominant pressure shaping the lives of tiny dinosaurs. Larger, carnivorous dinosaurs, theropods such as the mighty Allosaurus in the Jurassic, or various tyrannosaurids and dromaeosaurids in the Cretaceous, posed an ever-present danger. Even smaller carnivores were formidable, with sharp teeth and claws optimized to dispatch prey efficiently, making life in the Mesozoic a constant exercise in vigilance and agility for tiny dinosaur species. Yet, predation threats extended beyond large dinosaurs. Numerous contemporaneous reptiles, early crocodilians, mammals, and even other small carnivorous dinosaurs represented predators or competitors. For instance, small mammals evolving impressive agility and sharp teeth likely preyed upon juvenile or tiny dinosaurs. Some crocodilians, including semi-aquatic and terrestrial species small enough to maneuver covertly, could ambush these miniatures near water sources. Tiny dinosaurs also contended with intraspecific threats, such as territorial disputes or competition for mates and resources. Physical confrontations within species, though less dramatic than confrontations with apex predators, nevertheless influenced behavior and social structures. The existence of display feathers, crests, or coloration patterns in many tiny dinosaurs may have functioned to reduce violent encounters by facilitating visual communication and dominance hierarchies. Beyond direct predation, environmental threats were significant. Natural disasters such as floods, volcanic activity, or wildfires could impose sudden mortality risks. Climatic fluctuations altered resource availability, compelling tiny dinosaurs to adapt quickly or face starvation. Habitats could be fragmented or altered by shifting landscapes, forcing these creatures to seek new refugia or perish. The presence of parasites and diseases affected dinosaur health and survival, though direct fossil evidence remains sparse. However, by analogy with modern reptiles and birds, it is reasonable to infer that tiny dinosaurs endured burdens from parasites ranging from mites and lice to intestinal worms, adding subtle but chronic stress to their lives. Adaptations evolved in response to these threats were multifaceted. Camouflaging coloration patterns and feather arrangements helped tiny dinosaurs blend into their environment, making detection by predators harder. Agile locomotion, enhanced sensory capabilities, and behaviors such as burrowing, hiding, or climbing trees increased chances of escape and survival. Some species likely sought safety in numbers, forming flocks or herds to dilute individual risk and benefit from cooperative vigilance. Parental care strategies also played a vital role in mitigating threats to vulnerable young. Fossilized nests and juvenile groups suggest that some tiny dinosaurs invested considerable energy in protecting and nurturing their offspring, improving survival rates in the face of predation. The constant pressure from enemies great and small molded the evolutionary pathways of tiny dinosaurs, driving innovations in physiology, behavior, and social structures. This relentless arms race fostered resilience and diversity, traits that resonate through their modern descendants. The birds that captivate us today. Understanding the spectrum of threats faced by tiny dinosaurs enriches the narrative of Mesozoic life, revealing these small creatures not as fragile curiosities, but as dynamic participants in complex, often dangerous ecosystems. In the following chapter, we will explore how these miniature dinosaurs defied expectations, surprising scientists with their evolutionary achievements and reshaping our appreciation for life's adaptability across time and scale. Throughout much of the 19th and 20th centuries, dinosaurs were primarily associated with immense size, colossal beasts towering over ancient landscapes, shaping imaginations and scientific thought alike. This perception, while grounded in the reality of many giant species, inadvertently led to assumptions that dinosaurs were universally massive and slow, their survival contingent upon sheer physical might. However, the growing recognition and study of small dinosaurs have shattered these expectations, revealing that miniature giants occupied the Mesozoic world with remarkable success, agility, and complexity, defying traditional narratives and expanding our understanding of dinosaur biology and ecology. Small dinosaurs were often misunderstood or underestimated, seen as juveniles of larger species or marginal players in prehistoric ecosystems. Yet, numerous fossil discoveries have illustrated that many small species were fully mature adults, not juvenile forms, and they thrived in their own right. These miniature giants possessed a suite of adaptations that allowed them to navigate, exploit, and even dominate niches within environments shared with mega-sized dinosaurs. Their success challenges the notion that larger size alone equates to evolutionary superiority. One standout way these small dinosaurs defied expectations was through their remarkable agility and speed. Lightweight skeletal structures, long limbs, and specialized claw and limb morphology facilitated fast, nimble movements. Such traits allowed them to evade predators, capture elusive prey, and traverse complex terrains such as dense forests or rugged landscapes. Their locomotion, often involving bipedal running and climbing, contrasted starkly with the lumbering gait often attributed to larger species. Feathers, once thought the exclusive domain of birds, played a critical role in enhancing the survival strategies of small dinosaurs. Feathers provided insulation for thermoregulation, enabling active metabolisms, and served as camouflage or displays to communicate with peers. For some, feathers aided in gliding or even powered flight, demonstrating evolutionary innovation far beyond simple body size. Ecologically, small dinosaurs occupied diverse and vital roles. They served as insectivores, omnivores, plant eaters, and predators, interacting dynamically within food webs. Their presence contributed to controlling insect populations, pollinating plants, dispersing seeds, and supporting higher trophic levels. By occupying these niches, miniature giants maintained ecosystem balance and complexity, proving indispensable despite their size. Social behaviors further underscore their sophistication. Evidence of herds, packs, and parental care in small dinosaurs indicates advanced social structures. Such cooperation enhanced survival prospects by facilitating resource sharing, protection, and knowledge transmission, again defying simplistic images of dinosaurs as solitary brutes. From an evolutionary standpoint, the persistence of small dinosaur lineages into the late Cretaceous and their connection to modern birds underscore their adaptability and long-term success. Their miniature stature was not a limitation, but a strategic advantage, enabling rapid reproduction, environmental flexibility, and niche exploitation. The study of these small dinosaurs has fundamentally reshaped paleontology, highlighting the importance of size diversity in life's evolutionary narrative. It reminds us that gigantism is but one path among many in the tree of life, and that small creatures can wield outsized influence in the ecosystems they inhabit. As we proceed, we will investigate how these discoveries have reshaped scientific perspectives on evolution and diversity in the dinosaur lineage, paving the way for new interpretations and exciting questions about life's ancient past and the evolutionary legacy carried into the present day. The discovery and detailed study of tiny dinosaurs have profoundly reshaped scientific understanding of evolution, challenging long-held beliefs and opening new avenues of research into the complexity and dynamism of life's history. These diminutive creatures, once relegated to the margins of paleontological study, have emerged as key players illuminating fundamental evolutionary principles such as adaptation, diversification, and the origins of major biological traits. One of the foremost lessons tiny dinosaurs teach us is the importance of size diversity in evolutionary success. For much of the history of dinosaur research, the emphasis was on gigantism as a hallmark of dinosaurian dominance. The story of miniaturization, however, reveals that evolutionary pressures can favor downsizing as a powerful strategy. Tiny dinosaurs evolved to exploit ecological niches inaccessible to giant species, demonstrating that evolutionary fitness involves more than just brute size. This insight reframes our understanding of natural selection, emphasizing flexibility and adaptation to local environmental conditions over uniform trends. Moreover, tiny dinosaurs have been central to elucidating the evolutionary link between non-avian dinosaurs and birds. The presence of feathers, flight-related anatomy, and complex behaviors in small theropods confirms that many avian traits originated in their dinosaurian relatives. This transforms birds from unique, isolated branches of the tree of life into the living outcome of incremental changes within diverse dinosaur lineages. These findings highlight evolution's gradualist nature, complex traits arising through successive modifications rather than sudden leaps. The study of tiny dinosaurs also underscores how behavioral and social complexity evolved alongside physical traits. Evidence of herding, parental care, and communication in miniature species challenges simplistic views of dinosaurs as solitary, instinct-driven animals, and instead presents them as creatures capable of intricate interactions and strategies. This enriches models of evolution by integrating behavior as a driver of survival and diversification. In the realm of paleontology itself, tiny dinosaurs have inspired the development and adoption of new technologies and interdisciplinary approaches. Techniques such as high-resolution imaging, histology, and biomechanical modeling have been refined to accommodate the study of these small, fragile fossils. This integration of biology, physics, chemistry, and advanced computing has expanded the boundaries of what can be known about extinct life. The pursuit of understanding tiny dinosaurs thus exemplifies how scientific inquiry evolves with technological progress. Additionally, the recognition of tiny dinosaur species challenges taxonomic conventions, compelling scientists to reassess classifications based on size assumptions and incomplete data. It has prompted rigorous scrutiny of growth stages, species delimitation, and evolutionary relationships, fostering a more nuanced and precise understanding of dinosaur diversity. From an evolutionary biology perspective, tiny dinosaurs embody the concept of evolutionary experimentation, various lineages independently exploring small body sizes, feather development, flight capabilities, and complex behaviors. They reveal evolution as a rich tapestry woven from countless adaptive threads, some leading to extinction, others culminating in the survival of lineages such as modern birds. Furthermore, tiny dinosaurs remind us of the iterative nature of science itself. Each discovery often overturns established ideas, prompting re-examination and refinement of theories. The ongoing story of tiny dinosaurs illustrates how scientific knowledge is provisional, continually improved by new evidence and perspectives. In sum, tiny dinosaurs have reshaped how science views evolutionary processes, illuminating the intricate interplay of morphology, behavior, environment, and genetics over deep time. They bridge gaps between extinct and extant life forms, enhancing our comprehension of life's continuity and diversity. Looking ahead, as research continues to expand and technologies mature, tiny dinosaurs will remain at the forefront of evolutionary inquiry. Our next chapter will explore common misconceptions in popular media, how movies, books, and culture have both helped and hindered public understanding of these fascinating creatures, and how science communication is evolving to better convey the vibrant story of tiny dinosaurs. The portrayal of dinosaurs in media, from blockbuster movies to children's books, has profoundly shaped public perceptions, often embedding powerful yet sometimes inaccurate images in popular imagination. While these portrayals have sparked widespread fascination and interest in these ancient creatures, they have also perpetuated misconceptions, particularly regarding tiny dinosaurs. Understanding the nature of these misconceptions reveals the challenges of balancing scientific accuracy with engaging storytelling and highlights ongoing efforts to improve the representation of these fascinating creatures in media. One pervasive misconception in media is the overemphasis on dinosaurs as gigantic, monstrous beasts. Films like Jurassic Park and many others center largely on towering predators or colossal herbivores, often depicting them as terrifying monsters roaming vast, empty landscapes. This presentation sidelines the existence of smaller species, which actually comprised a significant portion of dinosaur diversity. Consequently, many people grow up thinking of dinosaurs as invariably enormous and slow, ignoring the nimble, small-sized counterparts that thrived in varied ecosystems. Another frequent misrepresentation involves the anatomy and behavior of tiny dinosaurs. Many movies and books depict them with scaly, reptilian skin, lacking feathers or vibrant colors. Yet, scientific discoveries reveal that numerous small dinosaurs possessed feathers, complex plumage, and diverse coloration, much like modern birds. This omission in media archetypes deprives audiences of appreciating the evolutionary connection between dinosaurs and birds and the nuanced appearance and behaviors of these miniature creatures. Furthermore, the characterization of small dinosaurs is often stereotyped as cowardly, insignificant, or filler animals within fictional narratives. They might be shown as comic relief, ditzy sidekicks, or inconsequential prey, reinforcing outdated views that tiny dinosaurs were overshadowed by giants in importance and ecological roles. This portrayal neglects their active participation in prehistoric ecosystems and the remarkable adaptations that made them successful predators, herbivores, and social animals. Children's books, while invaluable for introducing young audiences to paleontology, sometimes simplify or romanticize dinosaurs to fit narrative or educational frameworks. They tend to favor memorable monsters or charismatic figures, sometimes glossing over the diversity and ecological complexity of dinosaur life. Illustrations may lack scientific rigor, perpetuating myths or misconceptions, such as incorrect postures, erroneous groupings, or homogenized appearances. Recent media, however, has started to respond to these issues by incorporating new scientific findings more thoughtfully. Documentaries, popular science books, and even some films now depict feathers, accurate sizes, and complex behaviors of small dinosaurs, helping to recalibrate public understanding. Educational programs increasingly emphasize the diversity and evolutionary significance of tiny dinosaurs, highlighting their roles in the dinosaur-bird transition and their ecological importance. Public engagement initiatives and museum exhibits also play an instrumental role in challenging misconceptions. Interactive displays, accurate reconstructions, and explanatory programs allow viewers to experience a scientifically informed picture of tiny dinosaur life, fostering curiosity and knowledge beyond stereotypes. While balancing entertainment value with scientific accuracy is an ongoing challenge for media creators, collaboration between paleontologists, educators, artists, and storytellers is fostering richer, more nuanced portrayals. As this progresses, greater appreciation and understanding of tiny dinosaurs will likely penetrate popular culture more deeply. Examining these misconceptions illuminates the evolving dialogue between science and society, reminding us that accurate representation matters not only for education, but for inspiring awe and respect for Earth's prehistoric heritage. Our next focus will explore how tiny dinosaurs are related to modern birds, tracing the living legacy of these miniature giants and deepening our connection to an ancient lineage that continues to thrive in our skies today. As we explore the legacy of tiny dinosaurs, it becomes increasingly evident that they are not merely distant, extinct creatures of the past, but the direct ancestors and relatives of the birds that inhabit our world today. This profound connection bridges millions of years, transforming our understanding of avian life into a living continuation of the dinosaur lineage. By examining the traits, evolutionary pathways, and modern manifestations of these tiny prehistoric dinosaurs, we deepen our appreciation of birds as both remnants and ongoing chapters of a remarkable evolutionary saga. The link between tiny theropod dinosaurs and birds is supported by a wealth of anatomical, genetic, and behavioral evidence. Small feathered theropods such as Microraptor, Anchiornis, and others possessed key features remarkably similar to modern birds: feathers structured for insulation and flight, lightweight hollow bones, three-fingered hands with claws, wishbones, furcula, and specialized respiratory systems. These characteristics are observed not as isolated traits, but as an integrated suite pointing toward a gradual evolutionary transition from non-avian dinosaurs to birds. One of the most striking continuities is feathers. Originally evolved for insulation, display, and later for gliding or flight among these small dinosaurs, Feathers are now a defining feature of modern birds. Feathers enable flight, thermoregulation, camouflage, and complex signaling, making them versatile tools that have persisted and diversified through millions of years. Modern birds showcase a dazzling array of feather forms and colors, echoing the diversity seen in their dinosaur ancestors. Flight itself represents both a physical and behavioral legacy. The adaptations observed in tiny dinosaurs for gliding and the primitive stages of powered flight laid the foundation for the sophisticated flight mechanisms of birds. The evolution from simple feathered limbs to fully functional wings reflects incremental modifications honed by natural selection. Behaviorally, many birds' social structures, nesting habits, and vocalizations can be traced back to traits inferred from their dinosaurian forebears. Beyond physical traits, metabolic and reproductive strategies provide deep evolutionary links. Tiny dinosaurs likely possessed relatively high metabolic rates, supporting active lifestyles. Modern birds exhibit endothermy, maintaining stable internal temperatures through metabolic heat that may have originated among their tiny dinosaur ancestors. Parental care behaviors, such as brooding young in nests, are well documented in birds and have fossil evidence suggesting similar behaviors in predatory small theropods, reinforcing this continuity. The evolutionary tree-placing birds within the theropod group reshapes the way we define dinosaur. Rather than being a disparate lineage, birds are considered avian dinosaurs, the only dinosaur lineage to survive the mass extinction event 66 million years ago. Every species of bird today carries the biological heritage of tiny Mesozoic dinosaurs, making them living representatives of one of Earth's most successful and enduring groups. Modern birds also exhibit incredible diversity, mirroring the variety found among tiny dinosaurs. From hummingbirds weighing mere grams to larger flightless birds with specialized ecologies, their range illustrates the continuing evolutionary experimentation in niche adaptation, morphology, and behavior. This richness echoes the diversity and adaptability of their ancient ancestors, who thrived in myriad microhabitats and ecosystems. This relationship enriches scientific study and conservation by illuminating evolutionary pathways and highlighting birds' vulnerability and resilience. Understanding birds as descendants of tiny dinosaurs enhances the value placed on conserving their habitats, as they represent living connections to deep evolutionary history. In sum, tiny dinosaurs and today's birds are linked by anatomy, behavior, ecology, and shared evolutionary history. Birds are the miniature giants who carried forward the legacy of their dinosaur predecessors, evolving to fill new ecological roles while preserving the ancient blueprint. Their skies, forests, and fields are living museums, where the story of tiny dinosaurs continues to unfold daily. As our exploration advances, the next chapter looks ahead to open questions in research, where future discoveries and technologies are poised to deepen our knowledge of tiny dinosaurs and their evolutionary heritage, promising new insights and exciting revelations. While the study of tiny dinosaurs has already transformed our understanding of prehistoric life, many intriguing questions remain open, driving the field of paleontology into exciting new frontiers. These unanswered questions span biology, ecology, evolutionary relationships, and the broader implications of how size influenced dinosaur diversity. As new technologies emerge and fresh fossils are discovered, researchers are poised to uncover deeper insights, enriching our knowledge and reshaping long-held concepts about these miniature marvels. One of the foremost open questions revolves around the complete diversity and distribution of tiny dinosaurs. Given the inherent biases in the fossil record, where smaller bones are less likely to be preserved or discovered, How many small species have yet to be uncovered? Are there entire lineages or ecological groups of tiny dinosaurs that remain undocumented? Expanding exploration into understudied regions and applying fine-scale excavation techniques promise to paint a broader picture of their true diversity. Closely linked to this is the question of growth patterns and life histories in miniature dinosaurs. While histological analyses have provided valuable snapshots of their development, more specimens and advanced imaging techniques could clarify whether growth rates and longevity varied widely across species or ecological niches. Understanding how tiny dinosaurs balanced rapid growth with survival challenges can shed light on evolutionary trade-offs and metabolic adaptations. The evolution of feathers and flight remains a vibrant area of inquiry. Discoveries like Microraptor and Anchiornis have hinted at complex evolutionary pathways, but exactly how flight originated and diversified in small dinosaurs still evokes debate. Were there multiple independent experiments in aerial locomotion among tiny dinosaurs? How did feathers evolve beyond thermoregulation into aerodynamic structures? Integrating data from fossil morphology, biomechanics, and molecular studies can reveal nuanced evolutionary trajectories. Behavioral ecology is another frontier with many questions. Fossil evidence suggests sociality, parental care, and display behaviors, but direct observations remain impossible. Innovative approaches, such as modeling behavior based on bone microstructure, trackways, and comparison with modern analogs, may offer new glimpses into how tiny dinosaurs interacted socially, communicated, and coped with environmental pressures. Moreover, researchers are probing the genetic and developmental mechanisms that underpinned miniaturization. How did genetic regulation evolve to shape small body plans? Do tiny dinosaurs share developmental pathways with modern birds in their body structure and feather formation? Advances in paleogenomics, although challenging due to fossil age and preservation, alongside comparative developmental biology, could provide answers. The effects of environmental change and extinction pressures on tiny dinosaur populations are also not fully understood. How did these small species respond to climate shifts, habitat fragmentation, and competition with other vertebrates? Were their survival strategies distinct enough to facilitate their lineage persistence, eventually leading to avian descendants? These questions carry broader significance for understanding resilience and adaptability in ancient ecosystems. Technological innovations will drive much of the progress in these areas. Enhanced imaging modalities like synchrotron-based CT scanning, machine learning-driven fossil identification, and virtual reality reconstructions will allow more detailed and non-destructive analyses of delicate specimens. Collaborative databases and open-access repositories facilitate global cooperation, accelerating research. In sum, the study of tiny dinosaurs is a dynamic, rapidly evolving field with much yet to learn. Each discovery raises new questions, fueling the quest to understand how these small creatures thrived, evolved, and gave rise to many forms of life we see today. The future holds thrilling prospects for unveiling the mysteries that tiny dinosaurs have silently preserved for millions of years. Next, we will explore how these miniature prehistoric wonders have captured public imagination, how museums, artists, and educators bring their stories to life and inspire fascination with the ancient world in people of all ages and backgrounds. The public imagination has long been captivated by dinosaurs, and as our scientific understanding of tiny dinosaurs has grown, these miniature marvels have increasingly taken center stage in museums, art, and educational programs worldwide. Their inclusion reshapes not only scientific narratives, but also how communities engage with natural history, offering fresh pathways to inspire wonder, curiosity, and learning among audiences of all ages. Museums serve as vital portals where tiny dinosaurs come to vivid life beyond pages and screens. Exhibits have evolved to feature accurate reconstructions and lifelike models of these small creatures, often showcased alongside their gigantic counterparts to emphasize the full spectrum of dinosaur diversity. Cutting-edge displays use interactive technology, such as augmented reality and 3D projection, to immerse visitors in the environments tiny dinosaurs once navigated, enabling close-up exploration of their anatomy, feathers, and behaviors. Well-curated exhibitions highlight not just bones, but also the science behind discoveries, explaining techniques like fossil preparation, microscopy, and digital modeling that unveil the secrets of miniature species. Artistic expression plays a pivotal role in bringing tiny dinosaurs to life. Paleontological illustrators, inspired by the latest research, depict these creatures with scientific accuracy and artistic creativity. Their work reconstructs vibrant plumage patterns, dynamic postures, and intricate environments, challenging viewers to see dinosaurs as colorful, agile, and complex beings. These artworks populate books, magazines, museums, and digital platforms, fueling imagination and deeper understanding. Moreover, the recent surge in paleo-reconstruction art emphasizes the evolutionary link between tiny dinosaurs and birds, bridging ancient past with the living present. Education programs leverage the intrigue surrounding tiny dinosaurs to engage learners across ages. From school curricula incorporating interactive lessons about miniaturization and evolution, to museum workshops featuring hands-on fossil casts and virtual fossil digs, tiny dinosaurs act as accessible ambassadors of science. Their relatable size and bird-like characteristics make them ideal for demonstrating concepts like adaptation, ecological niches, and evolutionary biology. Storytelling focused on tiny dinosaurs, including children's books and multimedia resources, balances entertainment and factual accuracy, fostering early science literacy and environmental stewardship. Public outreach initiatives and citizen science projects further involve communities in discovering and understanding tiny dinosaurs. Fossil hunting excursions, classroom partnerships, and online databases encourage crowdsourced contributions, breaking down barriers between science and society. These inclusions democratize knowledge and inspire lifelong interest and potential future specialization in paleontology. Challenges remain in communicating the nuanced scientific realities while maintaining engagement. Overcoming lingering stereotypes and misinformation from popular media requires continuous collaboration between scientists, educators, artists, and communicators to present compelling yet accurate narratives. Emphasizing the importance and wonder of tiny dinosaurs within broader dinosaur storylines helps to cultivate a balanced, enriching public perception. Ultimately, the presence of tiny dinosaurs in public imagination transforms them from obscure scientific curiosities into inspiring symbols of evolution, adaptation, and the richly diverse tapestry of life on Earth. They teach us that size alone does not dictate significance and invite countless people to connect personally with a distant prehistoric world. Our final chapter will reflect on the enduring legacy of tiny dinosaurs, how their study has and continues to change our understanding of prehistoric life, influence science, and enrich culture, underscoring their lasting importance in both natural history and human imagination. The study of tiny dinosaurs has profoundly changed our understanding of prehistoric life, leaving an enduring legacy that extends far beyond their diminutive sizes. These miniature creatures have not only enriched the narrative of dinosaur evolution, but have also reshaped our perceptions of biodiversity, adaptation, and the complexity of ancient ecosystems. Their legacy illuminates the nuanced dynamics of life in the Mesozoic era and deepens our connection to the natural world, both past and present. One of the most transformative impacts of tiny dinosaur research is the expansion of dinosaur diversity as a whole. Once overshadowed by the spectacle of giants, small dinosaurs have revealed a vibrant spectrum of species occupying a wide range of ecological niches. This recognition challenges simplistic views of prehistoric ecosystems dominated solely by massive herbivores and ferocious predators. Instead, it underscores the intricate balance maintained by creatures of all sizes, shapes, and lifestyles, a balance that modern ecologists recognize as vital for ecosystem stability. Tiny dinosaurs have also reshaped our understanding of evolutionary processes, especially regarding the origin of birds. By uncovering feathered small theropods with traits linking them to modern avians, scientists have rewritten the evolutionary tree, recognizing birds as living dinosaurs. This realization bridges deep time, showing that the past lives on in the skies around us and highlighting the continuity of life across millions of years. Moreover, the discovery of small-bodied dinosaurs emphasizes the evolutionary significance of miniaturization as an adaptive strategy. This challenges the long-held assumption that greater size equates to greater success, revealing that survival often hinges on versatility, ecological specialization, and behavioral complexity. Tiny dinosaurs, with their rapid growth, social behaviors, and diverse diets, exemplify these principles vividly. In paleontology and related sciences, the focus on tiny dinosaurs has catalyzed methodological innovation. The need to detect, analyze, and interpret small, fragile fossils has driven advances in imaging technology, histology, and computational modeling. These tools not only illuminate tiny dinosaurs, but also enhance the study of other minute fossilized organisms, broadening the scope and precision of our paleontological inquiries. Culturally, tiny dinosaurs have expanded the public's fascination with prehistoric life. They invite people to engage with a more detailed and accurate picture of dinosaurs, moving beyond sensationalized depictions to appreciate the subtle, intricate beauty of these creatures. Their story has enriched museum exhibits, educational content, and art, inspiring curiosity and scientific literacy across generations. Finally, the enduring legacy of tiny dinosaurs lies in their illumination of life's resilience and adaptability. In a world shaped by change, environmental, ecological, evolutionary, they demonstrate that size does not limit potential, and that even the smallest forms can have profound significance. Their survival strategies, evolutionary innovations, and connections to modern life embody themes that resonate deeply within the scientific community and society at large. As we reflect on the legacy of tiny dinosaurs, we are reminded that understanding the past transforms our view of the natural world and our place within it. These miniature giants, long hidden in the shadows of their colossal relatives, now stand at the forefront of paleontology, continuing to shape how we explore, interpret, and cherish the vast story of life on Earth.